May as well just log in. Get the shit started. Stomach is not happy with me, as is my body in general. Oh well, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's gonna be fine, everything's fine. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask another I made this thing. I think I've messaged everyone that needs to be messaged and announced the stream everywhere. I forgot to announce it on the DK Discord yesterday. Kinda just got out of the habit of doing that. Like most mates that wanna ass up are generally hanging out in the stream anyway. Like doing the following here and shit. Oh, anyway. Where were we? This feels kinda hard to control. Is it delayed? Not really. Not any more than usual. Alright, cool. So, I think we did all the relevant nonsense before the upcoming boss that I've been putting off for as long as we could. I think we just go on from here and finally fight the Cathedral Lord boss. Let's quickly dump our blood points. Blood points, yes. Our blood echoes. Do we just continue this quality sort of build? How much health are we getting? Oh, it's decent. It's actually very decent. Let's do something like this first. I think we'll go 25 or maybe even 30 of it. And then endurance, and then we finally go back to focusing on damage. I feel like we're doing enough damage right now. Did I do everything else? Did I sort out my gems and shit? I don't know, let's just assume we did. Closest one should still be Cathedral Ward. Yeah. Just go to the right, up the stairs, to the right, up the stairs, and then you're there. This boss is a bit weird, but it's kinda cool. Has one gimmick that I'm not terribly worried about. I think our damage is pretty good. And if you have enough damage and like stagger power, you can just kinda brute force things for the most part. There are one or two ways that we can just accidentally die, of course, but overall I think we should be fine. Anything new and fancy over here? Nay. Hello. Snatcher's already coming. Got him. Chill, mate. Wait your turn. That hit me behind you. I'm not pleased with this. Still died though, and we rallied the HP back, so it's fine. Give me some twin shards as a condolence. Thank you very much. Consolation. Whatever. Not condolence. But yeah, we have enough insight that we now see their lanterns are covered with weird ass eyes, and they can shoot these fucking projectiles, which are a pain in the ass, so yeah. Isn't that extra fun? Ow. Ow. Sort you right the fuck out. Hey, you both dropped something though, that's alright. We don't even have the increased loot rune yet. Not that I'll complain. So I was googling a progression sort of guide thing to make sure I didn't miss anything of importance, and I think I didn't miss anything important just yet, but also they said some shit that's wrong, like demonstrably wrong. So I'm not sure how much stock I should put into that anyway. Come down here, mate. Leave your magic bullshit behind if you can. Nice, that literally caught me for frame. As in, I legitimately couldn't move. It was too meaty. Oh yeah, and their thingies are glowing and they do more frenzy now of memory reserves, but we don't really care for that sort of thing. We just go up here and have ourselves a good time because they can't access this area, given that it's a boss room.
Remain wary of the frailty of men. Their wills are weak, minds young. Were it not for fear, death would go unlamented.
It's kind of interesting. I never really got to listen to her dialogue very closely. She was actually like recanting a full little adage slash prayer or whatever. Neat. I guess I never played it with good headphones. Or maybe these are just good at like picking that up in particular. Because I did play it with blood phones, yes. Not with blood phones, but with headphones at some point. Anyway, off we go. Sorry, church mates, I think your holy medium isn't doing too well. Still got the covered eyes, and it's still holding the, or she's still holding the brooch of whatever variety, or little necklace thing. That stagger super quickly. I am shocked. Alright. What was doing the hill? I have that case very often with Bloodborne. I'm tempted to restart the fight with a weaker weapon because goddamn, this was a massacre. Didn't really get to see much of the moveset. Maybe we'll just drag it out a bit. she does some interesting things that we didn't get to see. You'll notice that she's mostly attacking with her right claw, while the left one is still holding the, like, necklace or brooch thing. She has two different grabs, like that one and another one she did earlier. Just a lunge. She sometimes goes absolutely apeshit in melee, and I don't know how to handle it, so I either like to, in that case, stay behind her or just far away in general. There's a few attacks that are, like, her retreating and trying to recover basically. That has a massive impact. Hey, we tied. Still got the souls. That's alright. That's actually a little bit unfortunate. I shouldn't have done that. I saw the opportunity, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just attack and see what happens. But actually, we have to go all the way back up there now. Because there's actually an item we need to pick up there. Oh well. Damn, that was a very slow set of attacks though. I'll just quickly run past everything. So I have to run right back down afterwards anyway. Keep your weird eyeball lanterns away from me, sir. That shit is weird. I almost didn't get away with that. He chose a really long range attack considering how close I was to him when the situation started. Intriguing. Anyway, so she died. I think we got the necklace, didn't we? Here it is. Gold pendant. Vicar Amelia's pendant. Used to gain a blood gem. Pendant of Vicar Amelia. Use it to change into a blood gem which fortifies weapons. This pendant, passed down among the vicars who had the healing church, is a reminder of the cautionary adage. To reveal the adage, touch the altar skull. Let's also break this thingy then. We get the gold blood gem. What does that one do again? I forgot. Attack up versus beasts by 12.6%. That's pretty good. Looks alright as well. When clerics began transforming into unspeakable beasts, the church needed something to retaliate with. Apparently this gem is part of that. And now we touch the skull.
Master Willem, I've come to bid you farewell.
Oh, I know. You think now to betray me.
No, but you will never listen. I tell you, I will not forget our adage.
We are born of the blood, made men by the blood, undone by the blood. Our eyes are yet to open.
Fear the old blood. I must take my leave.
By the gods, fear it, Lawrence.
I mean, how else do you intimidate a beast if not with some very churchy bling bling? They gotta put all the riches to some good use. Oh, I am cold. Light lamp. Maybe now less cold. Smiley face. That's how that works. Should we... Time has just moved on, so we probably should do a few things, shouldn't we? I should have probably also bought some blood vials before passing on the time. Instead I leveled. Oh well, I'm sure levels are also a good investment. I like that in the Yakuza franchise, the idea of like literally investing into yourself is like pretty good. Oh, is this the thing? The eye of a blood-drunk hunter beckons hunters to the hunter's nightmare. A deformed creature will whisk you away outside Odin Chapel. I will only do that later. We could hop in there right the fuck now, and that's the DLC basically. Could hop in there right the fuck now, do a few suicide runs to get the stuff that I want. I'll not do that until a little bit later, when the unseen creatures that are being described there are actually revealed by the game, instead of revealing them right now, because that'd be kinda dull. Do you have anything new to say?
Welcome. What is it? Hunters have told me about the church, about the gods and their love. But do the gods love their creations? I am a doll created by you humans. Would you ever think to love me? Of course. I do love you. Isn't that how you've made me?
Given that we know about the obsessive mania of whoever made her, that's a little bit creepy. Also, right, of course, Fandango. Welcome, welcome.
Hunters have told her, but would you ever? Of course, I do. Isn't. Farewell.
Let's see if we have something fancy to buy. I could do with some fire paper. We're effectively out. It's very expensive. Bloodstone shards, I think we're good on those. Don't need that. Don't need any of these. Oh yeah, we also have access to Ludwig's rifle. I think I didn't show this off previously. A rifle typically used by healing church hunters. It is said that this rifle was employed by Ludwig, the first hunter of the church. Its long, heavy barrel makes up in range for what it lacks in reload speed. The Healing Church workshop began with Ludwig, and departed from old German's techniques to provide hunters with this means to hunt more terrifying beasts, and perhaps things still worse. Basically the same, or a similar description to the Ludwig's Holy Blade sword that we could buy here somewhere. Was that not for sale here? There it is. Yeah, the same thing about hunt more terrifying beasts and perhaps things still worse. So that's basically his loadout. Ludwig's Holy Blade and Ludwig's rifle. Not a bad one. Oh yeah, we can buy the Tomb Prospector stuff now. The shit's actually pretty good, like stats-wise, if memory serves. Honestly, the stats don't matter that much for gear in Bloodborne. It's mostly about fashion. Like, these items have no weight, they all act exactly the same, they just have slightly different resistances to various things, so... There are some minor differences, but overall you can mostly neglect those and just put on whatever you find fancy. This thing's very expensive though. We shall quickly read the description. Attire of tomb prospectors who explore the old labyrinth on behalf of the Healing Church. The Healing Church traces its roots to Byrgonwerth and is therefore aware of the ruins' true importance. They contain much more than mere hunter trinkets. Indeed, they hide the very secrets of the great ones, of the old great ones, sought after by those with insight to imagine greatness. Inside we have some of that. We will probably also imagine greatness. You know what, fuck it, let's just do a full load of blood vials and be done with that for a bit. Anything fancy and new up in here? Let's buy this, why not, since we're right here. Buy the co-op and PvP bills. Still just Henrik and Gascoigne stuff. I think we actually won't get to use Jura's equipment, or do you get that later if you let him live? I don't remember. Like, usually only dead people's equipment shows up here, so maybe we can still get that through some later interaction. Maybe he drops it or something somewhere. But, we kind of denied ourselves with that for now. Oh. Let us then head back to the Cathedral Ward and talk to everybody, since time has moved on. I think there should be some more dialogue. Oh, I'm feeling a bit congested again. Probably sound a bit dumb, sus. Fuck it, more nasal spray. I knew a guy in like 5th or 6th grade or something that was at the time basically addicted to nasal spray. He just kept using it as a kid, and his parents just kept giving it to him because, like, why not? And he just kind of made a habit of it, of always using it and never got down from that. Nothing new from you. Let's talk to these others as well.
Oh, the whole town's turned quite a big fan back from... Oh.
Nope. Not here for your blood. You look a little bit less happy than previously. This in turn makes me very happy.
How did we ever get into this mess?
Yep, you seem very sane.
Give it a rest, please. I've no time for your petty lies. And what, just go, I can't stand?
Yeah, I was wondering if you ever get his outfit, if you let him live. Like, my instinct wants to say that you do eventually get it still, but I might also just be completely dumb. Nope, we cannot buy his clothing. The badge only gives you access to the weapons.
Have you
Fuck it, let's take our
Yes,
blood ones.
of course. Come in close.
I mean, I literally just checked the shops and it wasn't there. Like, neither in the inside nor the regular one. Alright, Blood of Adela. Let's have a look at this as well. Blood taken from Adela, none of the Healing Church. Restores an amount of HP, then continues to gradually restore HP for a short time. The Healing Church nuns are chosen for their merit as vessels for blood, and groomed as blood saints. The mere chance of being treated with their blood lends legitimacy to the Healing Church and communion. So apparently this is like extra fancy blood. Yeah, that's what I assumed. I have this mental image of his loot appearing on the tower anyway. Like, maybe if you check back much later, but I might also just be thinking of something completely different, so I didn't put much stock into that. Didn't I? Oh, there we go. Speaking of, we got a bunch of new gestures that we didn't actually check out. Let's go and put on some of these fancy ones. We have Shake Off Cape. Never mind, that's the old one from, what's-her-face? Which one was it then? We have one that was pretty similar. Brush Off Dust, there we go. That's the one we got from Juro. I think, if I remember correctly, this one might even cleanse your attire of blood. Let's go check that out, actually, if that is true. Might not be, but we'll find out. Any mate here to interact with? Oh yeah, right, time has passed. So now we have nighttime. You can see the sun has truly set, and in various places you'll even see the moon. Funnily enough. I think the giant is now asleep here. There he is. Or, well, praying or whatever the fuck he's doing. But yeah, the Bloodborne wiki is sadly not the greatest source of information. It kind of makes sense because Bloodborne itself can be fairly obtuse and a bit stingy about clearly telling you when what happens and why. I actually have the strategy guide lying behind me. It's probably gathering a whole load of dust because I haven't used it in a while. But that is actually fairly well written and pretty good as well. Yeah, that's the default, but for some of them, maybe there's an exception. Like, this one for example, we get his clothes later whether we bin him or not, so that's gonna be fun. Similarly, Jura, you don't have to bin him, so I'd like to think that they worked around that though. Yeah, it's like Melentia from Dark Souls 2, it's basically implied just running around and like picking up the stuff from the dead bodies you leave behind whenever you kill an NPC, which I always found was pretty funny. I think she even has a cheeky comment about like you murdering people, or maybe that's in Dark Souls 3 or something. But like I remember one of the merchants that sells your like the dead NPC's clothing was like, "Hey mate, been a bit busy there. Like no stress from me, mate. It's fine. Just want to buy these fancy clothes." Like kind of like that in a way. And I think it was Melancholia, maybe it wasn't. But yeah. It's always fun. Anyway, let's have a chat to this fellow, which was a lovely man last time I checked.
Oh, good to see you safe. Now, let's think up something to discuss. Just tell me what piques your interest.
So Alfred has one more topic. Like, these two are both old, I think, and this one is new, about the Vile Bloods. We've heard mention of these only very briefly, and I think from him, he's hunting those, if memory serves, for Master Logarius or some shit. Let's find out.
Ah, there's something I want to tell you. A bit of wisdom from the eminent Master Logarius. Once, a scholar betrayed his fellows at Bergenworth, and brought forbidden blood back with him to Canehurst Castle. It was there that the first of the inhuman Vile Bloods was born. The Vile Bloods are fiendish creatures who threaten the purity of the Church's blood healing. The ruler of the Vile Bloods is still alive today. And so, to honor my master's wishes, I search for the path to Canehurst Castle. I bid you farewell. It has been a pleasure. May the good blood guide your way.
He seemed like a pretty reasonable and decent bloke for the first time, like when we first met him. Now, this part sounded a bit more like, hey, I might be slightly obsessed about some shit. Cainhurvania, very fun. That's another place. Like, that is the, that and Upper Cathedral Ward, actually both of them were missed on my first playthrough, which is kind of embarrassing. But it was the last time I ever missed shit. In Dark Souls 3 I found literally everything on my first playthrough, and so in Sekiro. Well, literally everything is maybe an overstatement, but I think I found all the areas, all the bosses, all the endings and shit.
The password.
We got that dialogue again. I swear that used to be rare dialogue with him just muttering to himself for the foreseeable future. Like, this was like a puzzle for a while, like who is this guy and why is he here and how does he operate? So getting the rare dialogue was something fancy. I remember reading the Bloodborne wiki, not wiki, subreddit actually, which is one of the nicer subreddits to be on, because it's mostly just people coming together to like speculate on lore, and there's a lot of, oh my god, I did this thing, and oh my god, this game is so awesome sort of posts, which is a little bit circle jerky, but at least in a good way. But yeah, I remember back in the day, someone was like, oh my god, I got this rare dialogue, and people were like, oh wow, I've never heard those, I've played this like 20 times or whatever, and like all this fancy stuff. So either people got ridiculously unlucky, myself included, or we are currently getting very lucky with the dialogue. Anyway, we now know that the adage is fear the old blood. We're mates by the ass, and so on and so forth. How did you just open the gate? It's already dead. You get a madman's knowledge though, so that's alright. Interesting that this guy, despite being dead, can mutter to himself incoherently. Not the most unusual thing in the game, at all. Not even the most unusual thing we've seen so far, but it's still noteworthy in my opinion. Oh, noses freeing up, life gets better. Dun dun dun. I mean, you do get that from like an item appearing in your inventory, from picking up an item, like Madman's Knowledge in this case. So here we have the Forbidden Woods, which is basically the biggest area in the game, if memory serves. Is it? I mean, the DLC areas are fairly big as well. The biggest area of the base game, let's go with that. And it is also fairly labyrinthian, like there's a lot of ways you can go, a lot of ways you can go in circles, a lot to see, a lot to pick up. I expect we're going to be spending a lot of time here. Which is not optimal, because I don't particularly care for this place. It is designed to be kind of like a shitty place. It's like the pseudo-swamp of this game, I'd say, because this game doesn't really have a true swamp of memories. Like, I will stop saying that at some point. This game doesn't really have a true swamp, if I remember correctly. Let's go with that one for a change. So, like, it's kind of the pseudo-swamp of the game, and every Souls game needs at least one swamp, so it's, like, very, very big. It has at least 2 fairly sizable areas, which are in part interconnected and shit like that, so there's a lot to see and do here. And some of these enemies are pretty nasty as well. Yeah, I mean, our mate already has seen some shit, so... Of course it would turn out to be a corpse. Why not? Why can't you be reasonable? What is it with these Yarnamites and their weird blood and beasts and corpses? Oh fuck. Let's not get oiled. Hair in my mouth, 1 second. There you go. Yeah, I think it's a bit cheaty in a way, because it's like their shorthand for, hey, this area is gonna be miserable and oppressive and you're gonna hate going through this, and you're gonna have to play it slow and methodically, and you're gonna die, and you're gonna hate it, and everything is ass, which, like I said, feels a bit cheaty to just reuse the same theme that way, but as long as they're like doing something interesting with it, I'm not entirely against it. I'm also not one of those people that hates the swamp areas in these games. Like, I don't particularly mind Blighttown, for example. Like, in general, I think it's an okay area. That was fast. Caught you on the first move of your spin to win move. Called the fuck out. 4 blood vials, thank you. It's kind of interesting how obsessive I am about these blood vials. Like, oh, I gotta have blood vials at all times. Better buy them while they're cheap and shit like that. But really, if you've ever played those and gotten stuck on an area that you're struggling with, then you will relate to the pain of having to farm blood vials between attempts at a boss. Like, some of the DLC bosses, when I first did them, I was ill-prepared on my character. Like, I had a character that was kind of rushing through the game, and then I had intended to play New Game Plus with that character, and then I only got, like, halfway through, and I was like, fuck it. And I was still fairly low-level, didn't even have maxed out weapons and shit like that. And I went into the DLC with that character because he happened to be right there, and the first boss just kicked my ass up and down the entire map for, like, multiple hours, and every couple attempts I'd have to sit there and go like, oh, do I really want to go home and farm blood vials now? It is so miserable. It is, yeah, it's not great, basically. Don't run out of blood vials. So in turn, people like me have the fear of running out, which means we hoard blood vials, and we're very happy whenever we get them, even if they're not immediately needed. I think the odds of us actually running out, especially since I'm like using a weapon I'm comfortable with and shit like that, is actually fairly low. Like, I doubt we'll get into trouble, but can't hurt to be prepared. Could have sworn there was a little cliff to jump down from to get an item here, but maybe that's just a shortcut sort of thing. This area also has some bits that are interestingly broken. Like, you can get out of bounds in 1 or 2 places here at least, and do some cheeky nonsense to the AI, which does not enjoy you being out of bounds, basically. It's an oversimplification. Yeah, sadly, you don't get to rip many spleens out while you're, oh yeah, birds. You don't get to rip many spleens out while you're stuck fighting a boss. It's usually only the boss, and that's it. At least for the first boss in the DLC, they were so nice to put that little skeleton bro at the entrance gate that drops like, what, 10 blood vials every time? So you kind of can mitigate your losses.
This town's finished.
This town's finished. What fucking town? You're in the woods. Get real. Any item that we missed? Doesn't seem to be. Well, we were talking about him the other day on Discord. It's kind of shocking to think about it, that it is the first boss of the DLC, but, well, it be do. Alright, so here's our first trap. These are a bit cheeky. It does start with him, indeed. And he's not a very gentle man, especially on New Game Plus when you're ill-prepared with a man that doesn't even have fully upgraded weapons. Anyway, so this is a trap. And it's especially cheeky because this breaks and rolls along the path, which is actually still an active damage source, so you can get fucked by that. There's a few of these across the woods. They're kind of covered by these planks always, so if you are paying attention you can tell. And they are even avoidable, like we didn't need to trigger that, I just wanted to show it off. But it just adds to the atmosphere of, oh no, gotta pay attention to my every step basically. I think I used to explore this by heading to the right first. I'm just going on instinct here, trying to not miss anything important. Going by instinct? Functioning on instinct? Who knows? Fucking every stream I'm sitting here and doubting my Englandski skills over and over and over again. I think there's a Wandering Nightmare down to the right there, which is a bit ass to get. There are some dogs over here. This is a pretty nasty spot because the, like, at least one of these guys throws oil at you, and these others have torches, and there's fire on the ground, and I think one of them even throws molotovs. So if you get oiled, you are in a very shitty spot. And we get oiled. And we get oiled. For some reason also does a hell of a lot of damage when he tosses it. I got a jump. I jumped head first into that, like fucking some sort of soccer nerd. To annoy the Brit mates in the chat. Man, that was a lot of damage from the guard break instability bullshit plus transformation attack. Alright, let's see if this actually does make me pretty again. Did it? Like in the front bits that we touched? I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, the oil has come off. I think that was unrelated. I was not watching the status icon. So I feel less scared about going to this. Like, look at that damage. Got 350 or so for a like instability hit against the staggering mate. Also a mate with very shitty defense, to be fair, but you know. Alright, I think there's a one ring nightmare here, like I said. Yeah, nice try, bird. I think I go until this dead ends over here, and then I move to the left side? Or does this lead straight into the town? The little village? I think this leads straight to the village, doesn't it? Yeah, okay, so we go through the left now. I'm trying to cover basically the entirety of the forest, so that I don't miss anything, be it important or not. And as such, we'll have to do some backtracking and running around and going, is this the way? Ow, really? Could not reach him. Just a little cliff on the way. I also thought he was gonna stagger if I hit him twice. I was completely wrong there. Isn't there a man here trying to annoy me when I pick this up? Maybe not. So this is another one of those sort of... Nope, never mind, I'm wrong. Where is that thing that I'm thinking of? Oh well, doesn't matter. Forget I said anything. These are beast blood pellets, which are also very, very nice, but it's not what I thought it was. I don't think you get up here, do you? No. Game hard blocks me from going in that direction. There was a path to the left though, I thought these were connected. Am I being an idiot? I think I am being an idiot. This is where the branches quote-unquote split. Yeah, I think everything leads into the town thing now, the little village area. Right, let's continue this way. Slightly open room, no enemy inside. Immediately all of the warning bells come on, like, oh fuck, danger, danger alert, must be enemy around every corner. Because FromSoft game design. Alright, let's just wander onto this unsuspicious pile of logs, with the oddly unsuspicious hanging spike trap above. You know what, let's actually do it so I can run around without having to fear about it. And this one breaks differently, just to mess with you. Last one rolled forward and off a cliff, and this one just kind of sticks in place. Because the game hates you. There's a bunch of random dogs around the corner in these cages. I think I want to bum rush those if memory serves. That's the phrase of the playthrough, I'm calling it. Playthrough is not even halfway done. Just keep saying it. Stupid brain with its faint memories. Anyway, there's a window here. It might not look like a window, but it is.
Oh. A hunter of beasts, are you? Glory be. You know not the value you possess. But more's the pity. The hours of the night are many, and the beasts more than I can count. A veritable hunt unending. Not even death offers solace, and the blood imbibes you. A most frightful fate. Oh my. But I'm willing to do you a kindness. Step lightly round to the right of the great cathedral and seek an ancient, shrouded church. The gift of the Godhead will grant you strength. Yes, I'm unquestionably certain.
Summon up the power of the tonsil stone.
Not even death offers.
Right, so there's a very cryptic set of instructions. Basically, from the Cathedral Ward boss, go to the right, which is where we fought those two NPCs, the one with the spear and the shotgun, for example. And if you continue into that circular room with nothing going on, that was totally unsuspicious, we were supposed to find some sort of hidden bullshit there, now that we have the tonsil stone. Man is not wrong, these are correct instructions. But, yeah. We'll not go there and do that right away. We'll just continue our investigation over here in the woods. At least for now. Right, up here we find something I greatly enjoy, if memory serves. I think I use this fashion a lot. We get the white church set, as opposed to the black church set. So we already have the black church garb, this is the white church garb. Attire of special church doctors. These doctors are superiors to the black preventative hunters and specialists in experimentally backed blood administration and the scourge of the beast. They believe that medicine is not a means of treatment, but rather a method for research, and that some knowledge can only be obtained by exposing oneself to sickness. Basically, these are the fucked up sort of sciencey guys in the church, and they are basically the worst versions of the healing church hunters. I think the female version of this torso is like a sort of just a shirt. You don't get the full robes, and I use that a lot on my characters if I remember correctly. This one is alright as well. I kind of like the cloak with the little scarf thingy going off. Yeah, 2 tassels, there you go. Yep. It matches with a lot of things, I feel. Like, even just this top combination is still alright. Like, it doesn't look wrong because of the black scarf there in the back. Like, it's decent. Let's see if we can find something that's even fancier. That probably doesn't work at all. No, this helmet doesn't really go with anything, does it? We could just try the top hat, I mean, can't go wrong with the top hat. Let's look like this for a bit. I also enjoy the idea of a white outfit in a game as covered in blood and guts as this one. Just makes the contrast even better. So over here, which I looked at but didn't go, there's a hidden pathway here, and I missed this on my first playthrough, which is why I also missed Cainhurst Castle, as Man was alluding to earlier. And I won't make that mistake again. I don't remember where I want to be next. I think there's a shortcut we open over here in the village area. So maybe once we do that, we go through the little hidden passage here and move on. But yeah, I think I want to finish exploring here for a bit before taking a path back. Here's another snatcher. That was way too early. Close. Oh, I swear I dodged that. Come on. God, that is so late. I flinched like 3 times while waiting for that attack. Like, look how lovely the red blood works with a white outfit, especially since it already has some, like, brighter, almost reddish highlights anyway in various places. It's quite nice. That being said, the church mates are kinda dicks, like fairly massive dicks, so associating with those is not necessarily a good idea. Oh, here's the beast roar. Alright, so that's what I thought the other place was, where I was trying to make a fancy deal out of something that didn't turn out to be anything fancy. Beast Roar is one of these pseudo-magic items. Once again, it also uses 15 arcane, just like the old Hunter Bone. It only uses 2 Quicksilver bullets a pop, though. And it basically acts like the Force Miracle of memory serves. One of the Forbidden Hunter tools... I said it again, I hate myself. One of the Forbidden Hunter tools made by Irreverent Izzy. Borrow the strength of the terrible undead dark beasts, if only for a moment, to blast surrounding foes back with the force of a roaring beast. The indescribable sound is broadcast with the caster's own vocal cords, which begs the question, what terrible things lurk deep within the frames of man? Kind of like the implication of like, oh boy, the things your vocal cords would do if you just went full beast. But yeah, it effectively asks like the like a weaker version of the Wrath of Gods, or kind of like the Force Miracle from the Souls games, which, you know, is not great, but hey, at least it's something. Has its very niche uses, I'd say. Bit of a diplomatic answer, but such a slave. I think there's enemies in here somewhere. I could have sworn one of these houses had dogs in them. Maybe I already aggroed them. And here we have some blue elixirs. I think these are our first. Yep, here we go. Dubious liquid medicine used in strange experiments conducted by high ministers of the Healing Church. A type of anesthetic that numbs the brain. Hunters, able to retain consciousness by force of will, make use of a secondary effect of the medicine, which dilutes their presence while standing still. So if you use this, you kind of start being like faint and like sneaky a little bit. It's kind of like a stealth consumable, if I remember correctly. Didn't really use it very much myself. Maybe it's useful in PvP. There's probably also very niche uses in PvE, but I've never really fucked around with it too much. It's one of those slightly more gimmicky items in my opinion. Not that there's anything inherently wrong with that. I like when these games include like funky stuff. Like, similar to the Chameleon Miracles, or Sorceries? Sorceries, I think they are, in the Souls games and shit like that. That shit's always fun. Bit of a burning horse. Nothing that unusual for Bloodborne, pretty horrific for the real world. I keep forgetting that I can't turn while plunging attacking in this game. Pretty sure you can in Dark Souls 3. So we came at this from the side angle rather than going through the main path, which is quite convenient because now we can clear out the rooftops without being in trouble. Normally you'd have to fight your way down through the, like, on the low ground next to the buildings and shit, and people will either jump on your head or toss molotovs and shit like that, and life is miserable. We can prevent this by just going up here and having a chill time instead. They obviously still try to be annoying, but they're much less good at it. So down there, what's so glistening and like, what? How would you call that? Not fluorescent. Come on, brain. Maybe iridescent or something? Who knows? Like that funky, colorful shit. That is oil. There's basically like oil patches or like little oil lakes on the ground. And you can imagine that you move slowly in them, and having people upstairs throwing molotovs at you while you're standing in literal oil is not a fun experience, so clearing this out from the left side first is quite convenient, because you can kill them without worry. And then go all the way back, like we are doing right now, and then go into the town proper. Alright, so let's go almost all the way back. Over here was the trap and the, like, let's say main entrance to the town. There's a bunch of these regular hunter mates here, so we'll have to play a little bit carefully. I thought you had a rifle in hand, that's instead a weapon, interesting. Oh yeah, there's a butt scratcher here, isn't there? Like, there's a guy here that when you approach him, he scratches his butt because he's scripted to try to change to another weapon. Like, either he changes from, or wants to change from range to melee, but he can't, or the other way around. So, like, you approach him and he scratches his butt and it looks pretty funny. May have already, killed him previously, I only just remembered that. Maybe he's around the back here somewhere. I'm pretty sure he lives in this village. Oh yeah, so this totally not suspicious pit on the ground, and totally not a pit covered by random planks that will break once we get on them, is a trap that will break once you get on those, and that will be painful. Maybe it's this guy, like the one we just killed. If so, I'm sorry, it's that guy. But you had a mate, so I was worried. Maybe it's you. Yeah, look. He actually changed weapons, I don't know. I think there's a guy here that tries to change weapons but can't, so he basically just scratches his butt and it looks funny. Beast blood pellets, up to 15 of those now, that is very nice. To reiterate, they are basically like some sort of berserk mode if you take one of them. As long as you keep attacking, you're building a bar, which is your beast transformation bar. Sadly, it doesn't actually visually transform you. You don't like grow all fuzzy werewolf style, you just get a buff, and the bigger the bar, the stronger the buff. It means you deal extra damage, but you also take increased damage. The take increased damage part is fairly minor, if I remember correctly. And the deal increased damage part, however, is very strong, and people like speedrunners use them a lot to just kill things very, very quickly. So they are definitely super powerful. Actually, do we have that stat somewhere here? Oh yeah, there it is. There's a beasthood stat down there in the middle, at the bottom, and it basically dictates how much beasthood we gain, like how much berserk bar effectively we fill whenever we attack shit and do shit. Like it improves the sort of berserk state. Was this not the room? This is the room. Oh, this is not where the shortcut is though. Right, the shortcut is from even later. I thought this opened up the shortcut to the starting area, but I was wrong, it is the other way around. Alright, having seen just about everything else from this place, let us trigger the oh no moment. So normally if you just run into town for the first time and you don't notice this hole, then you fall down, you're suddenly surrounded by birds, and there's guys upstairs that might be shooting you, and when you get out, they are standing there and attacking you. Some of them might even jump down, I don't quite remember. It's been a while since I fluffed up this ambush. And over here, I think... Yes, this is the side where we would have fallen down if we had continued the path on the right side. We basically went right until this drop-off point, and then we doubled back and explored the left half instead. Which is why I chose to explore it in this order. This was the first house, then here on the right we have that shortcut that we can't open yet, so we instead move on here through the oil. Alright, so this is the area where they would have tossed firebombs at us, but we already sorted it out, so we just have to deal with these guys, but that's not that big of a problem. So when I played this back in the day, I had a grand total of 2 invasions, maybe 3, but I think only 2 invasions take place over the course of my entire playthrough, and one of these places was right here. I remember fighting someone here, in this like oil slick, and we were both trying to light each other on fire and trying to avoid that, which was quite fun. It was sort of an interesting place. The mobs were still involved, which made it a bit one-sided. There's a dead guy there, I kinda wanna loot that. How do I get up there? Is that for a later? Could we have gotten that? Maybe we could have gotten that. Maybe I missed it earlier. Because I think this moves away from this area now. Well, shit. Well, I have to double back anyway to get the like secret passage by the dogs, so we'll just pick it up when we do that later. Oh, is this the other side of the door? It sure is. Alright, cool. That's a very small shortcut then. Yep, that is incredibly minor. Let's quickly go back up then and oh, I'm so torn on the order I want to do things because we haven't really made any major progress here. Like, we haven't looped back to the initial bonfire, which is usually the indicator for, hey, you have made good progress. I think we're close, though. I think we're approaching a building where this will occur. Like, back there somewhere. Oh yeah, transformation attacks are also kind of your guard break replacement. You don't really need it because there aren't many like enemies with shields in the game, or many enemies that block in general, but it's there in case you ever wanted to use it for some reason. I think there's like a cannon or something around the corner here. Oh, it's straight ahead, never mind. I like how that sounds like a troll comment, like, oh yeah, there's a cannon here, be careful, lol. Like, yeah, sure, someone's gonna roll up with an actual fucking cannon, I believe you, that sounds reasonable. Nope, there is. It's just standing right the fuck there, shooting into the middle of their town, which is pretty funny. Into the middle of their little passage here. So we'll go around the side, through these connected buildings. And we'll probably change sides as well, I think. Up over to where that guy is standing. I think if I just sprint through, we should be fine. You plague-ridden rat. Sound bugging out a bit there. Not a big deal. Do we just beeline it from here? I don't remember. I think we do. If I did not get stuck. There was a man on the left side, but apparently we didn't upset him. Pleased to hear that. I think it's one of these nastier ones. It sure is. How the actual... You just swung 18 times, how was that not a parry? Nasty fuckers. I can feel my stomach acting up, so as soon as we reach the shortcut, I'm gonna have to take a quick bathroom break. Beast blood pellets. Swimming in them, as they say. Fuck your cannon bullshit. If you want it to be fancy, you can now fire the cannon yourself. It is very disappointing. Bit tragic, really, with how disappointing it is. Right, now we can, if we wanted to, take our time, but I think we just forgot to loot a corpse here. Yeah. And that was that guy back on the rafters, but we'll get there in a sec. First we have this big old building over here. Always loot around every corner. Good job, FromSoft. Could have sworn there was an ambush. Okay, I'll have to take that bathroom break right now. I'm very sorry. BRB. I am dying. sorry about that. I am not doing terribly well right now, so if the body decides it's time to evacuate, then I have to evacuate for a sec. Anyway, off we go into this big old mill. It's a lovely little hand lantern. So this very unsuspicious guy that's walking down there, he's a pain in the ass. We do not like very unsuspicious guy walking down there. He's kind of making weird noises. More audible when you get closer to them, but you know, still bad. There's a thing down here. This guy just jumped down. I'll trust him. It's probably good. That looks like a hole to die on. Some bloodstains. That's always a good sign. Is it really just for you? Are you baiting me in? Oh well, you're one of the smaller ones, that explains it. Oh, I thought it was gonna be... I swear I dodged that. Fucking die. I should just play more aggressive against these guys. Like dodge past one or two of their swings and then just try committing a bit. So up here we climb into the rafters, I think. And we pick up an item or two that is fancy. One of the memeiest items in the game exists up here, if I remember correctly. To the left, look to the right. Poison knives, but the more important one is, I think, that one down there. I think we access by going through here, maybe? Nope, we don't. This leads onto the roof. Right. This is the side where we came from, isn't it? Yeah, down there's the cannon. Alright, cool. Poison knife. And over here, in a very unsuspicious pile of corpses, we have another NPC. Possibly feasting on a child, by the way. Not great, whether that child be beast or not. It's not exactly the fine sort of thing to do.
Whoa! Blimey, don't scare me like that. On a night like this, I took you for a monster. Oh, thank the stars, you're fairly normal. Was it you who put down that awful beast? Ooh, that thing had me trembling, frozen in my boots. And then you came along. Well, if you're a hunter, then would you know of any safe havens?
So, blind, looking like a beggar, found in a pile of corpses, sounds oddly suspicious. This guy is no bueno. Instead of sending him to Odin Chapel, we'll send him to Josefka's clinic. She will sort him right the fuck out.
Oh, I'll be. Thank you. It's about time I made a move. I can't very well stay out on my own. Oh, you're giving me hope. Terribly kind of you. Take this. It's all I can offer us, thanks.
Pungent blood cocktails. Very odd creature, this man. Anyway, back in we go. Yeah, I think to get to the item we have to do a little jump. Down here. They could have sworn there was an enemy here, but apparently I am misremembering. And here is the cannon. The cannon is hilarious. Let's have a new go. It is obviously a firearm. Large prototype firearms, fashioned by the workshop heretics, the powder kegs. Good old if it ain't got kick, it just ain't worth it. Use of this weapon is equivalent to toting a mounted cannon into battle, complete with its ridiculous weight, staggering kick, and lavish use of quicksilver bullets. Such a monstrosity was doomed from the start, and indeed, its development was cut short, yet against impossibly gigantic foes, it might just be the thing. So, this thing needs 30 strength to even wield, and the damage is okay. if you're kind of committing to like good gems and shit like that, the damage can be pretty good. It eats 12 Quicksilver bullets a shot, which is crazy because you can hold 20 by default, so that's half your supply, or more than half your supply, strictly speaking, just gone. You can, however, do the thing that people like to do, which is use the cannon in combination with the bone marrow ash that we found yesterday. Because as we, as I was saying about the bone marrow ash, it effectively doubles the attack of your next firearm shot or projectile, whatever the fuck. So if you use that with a cannon, you do a very large boom, but only once or twice per fight. But still pretty funny. Sadly, it's mostly a meme. Like, it's not fantastic. I mean, we are going the strength route, or at least the quality sort of route, so we probably will be able to wield the thing, and I'll show it off, but I don't really expect anything too fancy from this gun. And neither should you, for all intents and purposes. This is where we went up the ladder, isn't it? Alright, so we go downstairs to the very unsuspicious maid we saw earlier. I could have sworn there were more enemies in here. Like, I'm very paranoid. There's the guy that we saw. I'm sure he's lovely. I guess that's it for now. See if we can get a backstab. I doubt it, but we'll try to find it. Oh, very nice. So he just took a lot of HP, or it took a lot of damage to kill him. That's probably what I should have said. He has a lot of HP. That gives you an indication that he might be a little bit more swole than he first appeared. And we didn't get to see the true nastiness of this man, because we killed him very quickly, but there are more, and we will inevitably fight them properly at some point, so the worst is yet to come when it comes to that. I could have sworn this... Are you humping the ground? Never mind then. I could have sworn this is also where the next shortcut is. Maybe out here? There's a man just across this chasm. Some item up there. Oh yeah. So, this guy is looking very unhealthy, both for himself as for us, as well as for us. If you're afraid of snakes, this is where the game stops being fun. I think I got a backstab here. Nice. And down he goes. That would have happened to the other guy as well, had we not just straight up murdered him with 2 backstabs, so yeah, these guys suck. They're really rough to fight in my opinion. They don't stagger very much, they have very good range. They have very odd attack combinations because sometimes they're body attacks and sometimes they're snake's attack. And overall, they are not fun, and I do not like them. They are very easy to die to, basically, is what I should say. Here is our shortcut. Nice. Let's quickly double back and get this item that we saw on the cliff. Twin bloodstone shards. Hydrate I shall, thank you. And alright, Astra. Welcome to not exactly functional brain man who's about to get lost in the woods. I've been saying that, but I'm doing alright-ish with the navigation so far, so maybe I should stop saying it. Anyway, this very neatly just links us back to the starting point. So over here is the door, and this is the lamp where we started. Ta-da! This is one of the things that's interesting about the forest in particular, is that despite its massive size, it only uses 1 lamp, and it's all connected via shortcuts, which is impressive. Kind of asked as well. Hey, nice, good to hear.
Ah, a new face, are you? And an accomplished hunter, it would appear. I am Volta, Master of the League. Members of the League cleanse the streets of all the filth that's spread about during the hunt. Like any half-decent hunter ought to, you know? Haven't you seen enough of these wretched beasts? Freakish slugs and mad doctors. Sentence these fiends to death with the help of your League confederates. What do you say? Why not join the League?
Fuck yeah, we in. Crushing vermin, cleansing the streets, that is 100% us. Like, look at us, we're clean. Mr. Clean himself, basically.
Yes, as a hunter well should. Commit the start. Our own Carol Rune, symbol of the League.
I like the intensity in his voice, like the kind of subdued anger and like, gotta fucking sort that shit. But he's like speaking very precisely and like controlled, but you can definitely tell the madness underneath.
The night brims with defiled scum and is permeated by their rotten stench. Just think, now you're all set to hunt and kill to your heart's content. Hunt in cooperation with your fellows, your League confederates.
Then there's the true madness, of course, like every good FromSoft dialogue.
Now, there is one thing you must know. By the oath of the League, those who bear its rune will see vermin. Vermin writhe deep within all filth and are the root of man's impurity. All vermin are to be crushed. The League exists to expunge all vermin, ridding us of any trace of human corruption. And so, until we are rid of all vermin, you must continue to hunt and kill. This bloody fate is ours alone. Do not expect the world to grasp our work. But remember, the Confederates will always have my blessing. And each other. Always.
So we got a new rune from that, and it's a weird teal blue looking one. It's called Impurity. This is a Carol rune that transcribes in human sounds. This rune, discovered inside the Forbidden Beast Eater, came to symbolize impurity and the oath of the League. Confederates of the League cooperate with hunters from other worlds and hunt to discover vermin. Vermin writhe within filth and are the root of man's impurity. Crush all vermin without hesitation. These are effectively the what would you call it in Souls? Like, it's kind of like your guild, your clan or whatever. And the like bluish, greenish, sort of tealish, whatever the color actually is, slot on the right is basically your like oath slot, wherever you can equip one of the current oaths and have like the ongoing effects of those. Some of them come with some stat bonuses, like I think one of them increases your stamina recovery very slightly, but effectively it's like choosing the Sun Bros in Dark Souls, or being a Dark Wraith, or whatever the fuck it is you're currently equipped like faction or multiplayer part. We can't equip it right here, so we'll have to do that in the Hunter stream later, but we shall enjoy this for the foreseeable future. If I remember correctly, as long as you have that rune equipped, under various circumstances, you will just get vermin from killing things. You kill, I think, bosses, or some bosses at least, and NPC hunters, and they will drop vermin on death, and you can crush that to kind of rank up within this faction.
The League exists, and they do not. And
it's kind of an like, generally speaking, one of the weakest points of Bloodborne, at least one of the main criticisms when the game first came out, was that the I forgot what it's called. It's not an oath necessarily, is it? Like the online faction stuff, whatever, the various factions that you could join in the Souls games, kind of was poorly represented in Bloodborne. Like, there was very little choice, and they did very little for the game, so people were a little bit disappointed with that system in general. And the DLC added some extra ones, which are cool. It's a good attempt at fixing this sort of issue, or at least addressing it. Right, oh, I took the wrong turn. I need to go straight here, rather than to the right. Right, we're backtracking towards the path by the dogs to loop back into Yharnam and find the invitation to a bonus area, basically. town we cleared out earlier. In the middle here is this pit that we need to not go into again. Need not go into again, whatever. I'm talking so much shit today. And over here is the path. Now this path is kind of a pain in the ass. We shall equip some antidotes for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Totally no poison coming up or anything like that. Some pretty flowers, some bones, dead people, giant skeleton because why the fuck not? Very big skeletons. Random dead guy with some loot. He's got antidotes just to get us, to have us covered in case we don't have any on us. But we do, so we should be fine anyway. So this is kind of the actual swamp of this area, or of this game. This water poisons you. I think it also slows you down, although I'm not entirely sure about that. And you fight these not quite church giants. If you want to, you can in theory just run through and avoid them. I usually don't fight them, but let's try to do so for completion's sake. Bloodstone shard. Right, so I'm gonna use these antidotes only when I plan. Fuck, right, there's also eagles, yes. Leeches. There we go, that's the word. There's also leeches in the water, or little snakes or whatever the fuck these are supposed to be. So they do some extra nibbling as you're already fucking around. I'm only going to be using these antidotes if I plan to stay on land for an extended period of time, because otherwise it's kind of a waste. Like, in the water itself, you just get poisoned again immediately. Can I lock onto these, or do I just have to guess where they are, or ignore them? I guess ignoring works fine-ish for the most part. I think this island has a bunch of those snakes, so this is not as safe as it looks. Or I could be completely off. Nope, there's one. And they're durable too. Like, you'd think a snake like that would die to a jump attack, but nope. Gives very few fucks. There's more. I'd like to take care of you before we aggro the giant. Like, I'm not quite sure what they're supposed to be. I think they're more leeches than snakes, so I'm gonna go with leeches for now. Like, we do have these more or less actual snakes in the woods, and they look significantly more like snakes than these ones. Mostly these have these weird, odd face thingies. I don't know, they look like leeches to me. I'll stop rambling about that, I promise. Ow. Bloodstone shard. Anything else of use over here? It's kind of a dead end on this side. Is there nothing of value over on this side? Oh, there's a pathway. Let's quickly try not to get poisoned. Or we could just go in and tank the poison. Fuck it, we'll tank it. If I remember correctly, this item is not worth the effort. Oh fuck. God, they jump far. They're also kind of fast to hit, as you might imagine, with tiny little things like that. Bit of a drain on the old blood vials, but we've got a few, so we should be fine. That's just a message, wasn't it? Yeah. Or a dead body in this case. Arcane Blood Gemstone 2. Let's quickly take a break over here and... Hey, what? Why am I still getting poisoned over here? I guess that is still technically in water. Never mind, not taking a break here then and reading that. Let's try to remember for later. But yeah, I have this mentally filed under not worth the effort, and usually I just run through this area instead of fighting everything. The Blood Gemstone. Maybe some of these are alright for weapons or playstyles that I usually don't cruise. What the fuck on? That said, I think the vast majority of things to do with blood gems that are in the base game and not in the chalice dungeons are not really worth going for. So if you really want some various gems for specific purposes, like either poison or blunt damage or whatever the fuck, there's usually better ones to be found in the chalice dungeons than what you can find randomly lying around. Ooh, I almost died there because of that third leech jumping in. I think that would have been enough to kill us. Oop. He sprinted a bit further than I expected. I am shocked that we got that dodge off in time. Oh, like he had a weak point appearing on his arm after that attack. Okay, let's not accidentally die for being dumb. Of course, on the last hit I struggle the most. Being typical. Is this where we move on, or is this more leech bullshit? I think this is where we move on. Connects up here, and then we go up this ramp. Alright, cool. Let's quickly antidote these last seconds away, and have another blood vial just in case, and now we have Snake Eater time. Let's actually have a quick look around here, because there's a bunch of like minor things to see, like all these graves with all these lanky dead bodies. Bigger men than what we are. It's kind of neat. Someone is sliding down this ladder. Why would you ever come back down here? Poor guy. Going into heck, basically. I'll have a quick drink. Now, the highlight of this area isn't just the dead bodies and the poison and the leeches. The flickering graphics for some reason. That was odd. Don't think I've ever seen that. The best part about this area is that there's not just one giant ladder, there are two back-to-back massive ladders. It is peak game design right the fuck here. It seems as though these bodies have been just dumped down. And we're all the way back in Yharnam. Very close to the starting location as well. Because behind this very gate is the clinic. We didn't reset the area since we talked to the beggar, so don't think there's anything fancy for us to do in here. Let's instead just go in the back way. Because this is the back entrance to the clinic. There's a brain sucker here if I remember correctly, so it's already a Molotov. Maybe there's just a bunch of birds. I know there's a bunch of birds, but my brain wants to tell me that there's a sucker out here. Yep, there he is. Hello, sir. You are a very sturdy one as well. You're down. I'm just gonna play it safe and toss another one of these. I do not want to fuck with these guys. If I die now, I have to do the entire thing over again, and I'm just not in the mood for that. So I'd rather toss an extra Molotov and play it safe. Some Madman's Knowledge lying around, and then there's ladder number 3. This one is tiny though by comparison. Then we get a bit of roof access. There's some fucking poultry. Can't have a roof without poultry. Not in a town like this. Some boom in the background, it's always nice. now we're in the rear entrance of Yusefka's clinic, and that sound effect that we just had was us attaining insight. So we did actually get 1 point of insight for even coming in here, even though we haven't even seen anything yet. So what craziness might we be about to see in this game, or in this this place? You get to see some aliens, goddamn. Hello. Wrong. Those. You look a bit weird. Are you perchance one of these quote-unquote great ones that we've heard so much about? I miss. Nobody saw that. Let's try again. You get a beast rune. Wait, is that the... Probably is. Anyway, we got the beast rune level 2. We've already found the previous version of that. This is the level 2 version. Gives us 50 points of beasthood instead of only 20. And then in this room we have an operating table, or 4, and we have a dead alien up here. Like mushroom man or whatever the fuck you wanna say. Some sort of deformed entity. Whatever the fuck it might be. We get the communion rune. Aren't we using one of these already? We are. This is, I think, the level 2? Might be the level 3? Who knows? The description we've already read, but this one gives us 3 maximum blood vials instead of just 1, so that's a straight upgrade to the one we're currently using. I think this one right here that up the beast rune was because we sent the beggar over to Yusefka's clinic. I think this may have been the beggar in a previous time. Like the blind mate.
Ah, moonlit scents. How did you worm your way in here? Very unfortunate. I had such high hopes for you. Well, I won't make any excuses. Would you mind leaving us alone? Things need not change. You'll do the rescuing, and I'll do the saving. But if you refuse to leave... Oh well. I've always wanted to try my hand on a hunter.
The guy in the red cloak? What? You mean the cathedral ward mate? Oh, interesting. Huh. I thought it was actually the one bit of useful information because it lines up so well with the mate we just talked to. Like the mate that we sent here. Well, I mean, the one that we just talked to and sent here also had his face like he was blinded from the bandages and shit. I see. Huh, I always took it to mean he was referring to that guy. Oh well. Anyway, so Yusefka seems to be doing, or maybe fake Yusefka, given that she had a change of character and voice earlier in the game. She seems to be operating or experimenting or whatever on anyone we are sending here from her dialogue. She was also, when we checked through the cracks in the door, wearing the white church garb, and from the description we had known that the white church hunters are like, hey, we science and medical experiment up in here. We do fancy bullshit. So, yeah. Anyone we would have sent here would have effectively been turned into one of those weird creatures, and we would have possibly gotten a drop from these. We find on this table, which is where we first woke up at the very start of the game, the Canehurst summons, which is a letter that we can read. An old blood-stained summons inviting an honored guest to the forsaken castle Canehurst. Rather bafflingly, it is addressed to you. Do not hesitate, the stagecoach leaves from Hemwick Crossing. This one is a bit interesting. I think it is, like, the way I always understood it is that when you woke up you may have had this on you, but you forgot it on the table, like you didn't notice it as you were leaving. And as I pointed out in the first set, we couldn't get back into this room. Like, Yusefka meets you at this door here, and this door remains closed if you try to approach from the other side. So we couldn't just walk back up here and, is it this door? Maybe it's the downstairs door, I don't know. But yeah, you couldn't just get back into the room and pick the item up, and here we still have the same note about, seek pale blood to transcend the hunt. So this is, indubitably the room where we start the game in. Also, we have this man, so let's, unable to acquire your Safka's blood vial due to inventory or storage maximum. Whoops, let me fix that. So, likely this was Yosefka, and she was, like, I don't know, captured, overthrown, overtaken, whatever, by lady upstairs, possibly imposter Yosefka, and this is the result. The game can't really be terribly explicit about it, but if you send people here and then check back in later, you will find the more of these weird mushroom men, alien creatures, whatever the fuck you want to call them. And I think they're called Celestials. Celestial, not emissaries? Maybe emissaries? I don't remember. Anyway, you find more of them, and everyone drops an item that is relevant to their character. So, the idea is basically that by their drops you can sort of deduce who the fuck you just, who the fuck it was that got experimented on and turned into this, and who you just killed that way. So this likely was Yosefka, from the way I understood it anyway. And we are back on the first floor sick room. So if we wanted to, we could walk upstairs and confront fake Yosefka about her bullshit, and she would, like she says, fight us. We'd probably win in an attempt or two, but the storyline has places to go, so we may as well play it out. Yeah, I mean, why not also be a bigot while everything is going tits up? We have the heavy drug use, we have the insanity, the madness. Bigotry fits right the fuck in there. Fighting Yosefka, she's fairly tough. She can... like, I think she uses like one of these pseudo-magic tools, and they do a shit ton of damage if they catch you in the wrong moment, so there's a very good chance I just randomly die, basically. No Garmin today. Dole's hanging out by that grave again. Well, the idea is that I'm not avoiding that fight because I'm afraid of losing. The idea is that I'm avoiding that fight because there's more story to be had, and I prefer story over random pseudo-boss fight. So here's the Impurity Rune. Like I said, it's basically like the Oath system, or the... fuck, what is it called? Covenant! There we go, brain. The Covenant system from the Souls games. So as long as we have this rune equipped, we are part of the... oh god, my brain is just... Confederate, there we go. Confederates. And we can start finding and crushing vermin to increase our rank. And also, as the description there said, we would have a 2% HP increase in co-op, which effectively is nothing, so you're not really doing that for any sort of benefit, you're just doing it because, first of all, why not? There's nothing else in that rune slot, and second of all, must crush the vermin, it is important. Must also hydrate. Fuck, this is empty. Good thing I have a spare. Goodbye, can. Here we go. Sorted. Tie them. Do we want to buy anything, or do we just level? This cable, the way it's connected to the controller is so uncomfortable. I keep struggling with it every fucking stream.
Welcome.
In a way, I can't wait to be done with this game, to go back to streaming fucking PC games instead, because this is miserable. Right. Life and stamina, the things we want in life, I guess.
Very
Oops,
well.
I misclicked. Don't do it, thank you. And the rest goes straight to blood vials. I find that's a very good habit to have, to just not run out of blood vials or quicksilver bullets if you're using a lot of those, is to just, whenever you're done leveling, instead of keeping the remaining souls, just invest them into one of the two, like, resources that you might eventually run out of. Alright, that means we should probably be heading back to the Forbidden Woods, unless I missed anything. Is there anything I need to do right now? I don't think so. Yeah, I think we just go back here and use the unlock shortcut to continue through the snaky part of the forest. Of the woods. Is there a difference between woods and forest? Is it like a size thing? It has to be this big to be called a forest, otherwise it's just woods? Or is that like different categories of landscape? I don't know. I kinda would just intuitively use those words interchangeably, but there usually is a distinction for stuff like that. Oh, nice. I love oranges. Good luck. Sorting those out is a pain in the ass, but they're so fucking worth it. Alright, snake hell, here we go. Yeah, I intuitively would say maybe one of them is like a sort of like describing a zone, if you will, whereas the other is actually the location or something. Like one of them is like, hey, this is the woods, as in like you take a map and you design a an area, like you drag a sort of like designate a green zone and this is now your woods. Or on the flip side, maybe one of them is like, hey, this is, I don't know, fuck off forest or something. Like one being I describe the landscape and the other being like an actual location. But who the fuck knows? Not me. Oh fuck, there's that item we missed earlier in the little hamlet. Oh, I really wanna run back and go get that. Fuck. Must resist obsessiveness. Oh, it's so hard. No, it's probably worthless. Oh, but I must check. I'm sorry, I must check. No, I must resist. Move on. If I die, I'll go check. Let's do that. Then I have an incentive not to die, or to actually die, or like be happy about dying this way. Anyway. Yeah, I usually just feel them and then start nibbling them with my hands. I've also heard of deviants that just kind of like either cut part of the peel off and then start nibbling through that little hole they make, or just straight up like bite the peel off and spit it out and eat it that way. But that's like the level of savagery that I do not operate on, so I usually just take a knife, peel them, and accept them as from there. Oh. I said peel them, excuse you. I'm not mumbling that bad. Ugh, terrible. Yeah, that could also be. Or maybe woods just means like a place of like greenery and shit. And like could be anything, whereas forest is like specifically with a bunch of trees rather than just dense shrubbery and whatever. I don't know, we need a fucking scientist in here. Desperately. So they can stop me from rambling about things I don't know about. I guess I'm more asking, so that's fair, I guess, maybe. Pokemon attempts to be kind to self. Anyway, so these are balls of snakes. Apparently this is a real thing some snakes do, where they kind of just like tangle together like that. Also the occasional odd statue of eldritch monstrosities in here. Nothing to worry about, I'm sure. But yeah, these balls of snakes are a pain in the ass. These small ones die quickly enough that they're not a big deal. There are bigger ones though for some fucking reason, which are a fairly big deal in my opinion. And then we also have these cunts, obviously. Saw one of these in their transformed states earlier. If you give these guys room to breathe after their transformation, they are a royal pain to fight, so we shall try to avoid that at all costs. Well, maybe not at all costs. If we die, then we have to redo, so just try to avoid it, I should say. Now, there is a bit later where there are very, very nasty spiders that I'm not happy about. But if I had to pick between fear of spiders and fear of snakes for this game, I think if you're afraid of snakes, you're slightly worse off. This area is fairly big, and overall just has a lot of these enemies. They're spread out, they're kind of ambushy, they blend in with the environment. It's like, ugh. I'm sure if you're afraid of snakes, this place is a nightmare and a half. Whereas with the spiders, at least for my perception of them, there's only one room in the game, and then there's parts of the Chalice dungeons, but for the main game, there's only one room that makes me very uncomfortable. So as long as I manage to tank that one room, I'm generally fine. Whereas with snakes, you have this entire half of the woods to deal with, and then these enemies that transform, which is probably once again more nightmare fuel, so I feel very sorry for anyone that is afraid of snakes in this place. I hate the spider room so much, you have no idea. Like, that shit is legitimately nightmare fuel. The way they move and attack, and the way their, like, limbs stretch towards you as they attack in this super unnatural and kind of creepy way is, ugh. Everything about them is an absolute pain in the ass. Like, I am legitimately scared of that room. It is, however, only that one room. Everything else is fine. Like, even Rom, despite being called a vacuous spider and summoning what is ostensibly spiders, I can deal with that. That's not a big deal. But that room is... ugh. Fuck, I hate that room. Like, legitimately, when I first played that, I had to stop the game at that point. I was like, nope. No, I'm stopping for the day. I'll do this after I went to sleep and wake up the next day, because otherwise that will terrify me. It's always funny because, like, I'm generally not afraid of very much in, like, both in real life as well as in games. Like, nothing really unsettles me a lot, but spiders always get to me. And funnily enough, even these fake-ass video game spiders, people are like, oh, it's just pixels, at least be afraid of real spiders. Yeah, I mean, I'm also afraid of real spiders, but fucking, it doesn't matter that it's just a game. It's not the rational part of my brain that's like, you must be afraid. It's the irrational part of your brain that's responsible for phobia, so fucking... shut up! It's crazy. I can't help it. Like, I know they're not a big deal. I can kill them in most games. They're generally just generic enemies, but that doesn't stop them from setting off my brain in the most unfortunate ways. But yeah, not looking forward to that room. At least you can cheese that room, so I always do. Still creepy, but at least the gameplay is not that bad then. I think there's one of these trees here though where snakes actually jump down. Like there's like, I feel like over to the left there, one of them falls out of the tree, which is probably enjoyable. Personality is like a bit of a stretch for something that usually just hangs in the corner of the room and doesn't really do anything. But also just the way they just skitter away and like you leave to maybe inform your mate like, oh god, there's a spider, I might die, and then you return and the spider is gone or whatever. It's like, ugh, fuck. Like my body instinctively cringes at all of that. Like even thinking about it is like, ugh. Please no. I think the worst part for me is that, first of all, I like animals a lot. I try to avoid harming them if I can, even something like spiders. And the second worst part is that, or like what's attached to that that's also really bad, is the fact that spiders are so cool. I think they're just really cool animals in general. Like, they're hopeful in the sense that they nibble the fucking mosquitoes away, which nobody likes, and they just hang out, like, quite literally. They just live in your house, and they don't do anything. They're not getting in your way. They're usually afraid of you. Where I live, there aren't any poisonous spiders or anything, or, like, venomous, I should say. Not sure I've ever eaten one, so I can't really say the poisonous part, but yeah. Like, there aren't any, like, dangerous spiders to fear about. It's just they hang out in my house, and they're probably useful. So, why am I so afraid of them? I don't know, but please stop existing in my vicinity. I'm so sorry. Like, I'll feel bad about it, just kind of the worst part. Mushrooms, interesting. As in, like, weird mushroom creatures in games, or just, like, actual just mushrooms hanging out somewhere? Oh, hey there, snake. Speaking of a snake that jumps out of a tree. That was actually sort of spooky because I was turning to face the chat. So I just saw that out of the corner of my eye and we were talking about spiders, so my alarm bells set off. Oh, I see. That's a shame. Mushrooms are alright. Some of them are fairly tasty. I also have some foods that I really don't, like, just can't stand. I think I almost, like, started to vomit when I first had, like, an oyster or something. Like, that just is not for me. That doesn't count as your attack, so I can't carry it, right? Yeah. It's so weird. You can try to rationalize it like crazy, like, oh, this is only a game, or this is only a video, or you don't need to be afraid of spiders, or this thing is more afraid of you than the other way around, or in your case, like, this is actually taste-wise not too bad, or whatever, but it's just something you don't have control over. You can't just rationalize your way into not being afraid of a thing. That's not how that works. I mean, it's how you kind of tank it, I guess, to the best of your ability, but that doesn't stop it from happening. You'll always feel shitty about it. I think the one thing that really works is if you, like, kind of expose yourself to the thing over time, slowly but surely. Like, one thing I've been doing since a moderately long time, and I've been also kind of seeing success with to an extent, is just actually, like, trying to, for lack of a better term, tolerate spiders hanging out in my house or in my bathroom or wherever they are. So, like, I'd be looking at them and instead of going like, oh fuck, must hopefully, like, ask someone to remove or whatever, I'd just be like, okay, you live here now, maybe, like, give them a name, hope they're doing alright, and do things, like, killing mosquitoes and whatever, like, trying to, like, kind of mentally connect that with something fun or enjoyable or something in some way. And, like, I even managed to have, like, a tiny one crawl on my hand one day. I was like, yes, this is success. This is what success feels like. Then a few days later, I saw a fairly big one. I was like, nope, 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 no success. Very little progress was made. That one was just so tiny that my brain didn't recognize it as a big scary spider. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting better at it, though. Yeah, but isn't that good? Like, when I was playing Hunt with Sir Aldous the other day, he was like, hey, I have this spider hanging out here. What do we call him? Or call it, or whatever. I don't remember exactly what he says. And I just said, alright, his name's Thomas now, so now he has Thomas the spider living in his room. Like, that's alright. Thomas is a fine man now. We can make up shit about him. Like, maybe he silently judges Sir Aldous for his mediocre hunt showdown skills or something. And then you're attached to it, and then it's not the, oh my god, this is a scary creature response, but rather the, like, we're just hanging out response. That's better. Like, lots better. This is also where I usually die in the woods, by the way, like this specific fight here with these mates. They are very ass. You are alive. You gotta be kidding me. Die. Please. Sir. No, not you, the other one. I mean, you can die too, I'm not judging, but... Oh, nice, we got the backstab. Yeah, that sounds exactly like the sort of animation I want to see. Thank you, especially after a discussion about what the fuck we're talking about right now. Yeah, let me remind you of the wasp. Sure. Fucking, let's go. I'm down. More likely I'll just forget those, sorry. Not for trying to avoid it, but rather remembering things like that is hard. We did clear this little edge, didn't we? Well, there's enemies here, so clearly we didn't fully clear it. Where we're clearing is unclear as of now. So what's interesting about this place is that if you actually know where you're going and you don't really want to pick up all the things, it's actually super quick to get through. This area is fairly open in the way you, like, maneuver. So if you know where to go and what you want to do, you can just go there and get it, basically. And if like you're watching a speedrun of this area, they are in and out in a very record amount of time. Oh, I got pushed flatways. We'll just play it safe and do this. It's quick and easy. I think they only have 2 different attack animations, so if I just play it smart, I can really figure this out and get a free slap into the face every time. Like, I imagine if this was an amalgamation of spiders that just did weird gribbly shit in every direction, I would probably die fighting this. Like, not in the game, but in real life. And then as a result in the game, most likely, then the order is probably what's important here. Like, this must be so bad if you're afraid of snakes. It's kind of fascinating to me that people are just randomly afraid of various things, whether they actually encounter them or not. So for example, my mom is afraid of snakes, and I don't know why. I don't think she's ever had any like bad experience with a snake that would be like traumatizing or whatever the fuck. There's not many snakes around where we live or lived. And like, why is she afraid of snakes? Who the fuck knows? Her brain's like, nope, and just does not agree with these creatures. So I guess that's just how it is. Same with me and spiders. Like, why am I so afraid of spiders? Who knows? Did they ever do anything to me? Not really. I mean, I got scared of it as a kid, but outside of that, not really anything terribly nasty. Like, phobias are very interesting to me. Alright, I think we're sort of approaching the end of Snake Hell. There's still a few bits left to do in the woods, but this should have been the majority of the snake bullshit, if I remember correctly. Loud enough for me to turn the game down, or do we just tank it and accept that it's going to be over in a bit? Because while it's kind of inconvenient to manage, I can still turn the game down a little bit. That would make it better. Oh, I do not want to fall down. This does. It's good, thanks. I feel so naked without OBS telling me the audio levels of things. Like, I feel like I've over time gotten a somewhat decent grasp of what would substitute too loud or too quiet in terms of the the bars on OBS. So I could kind of sort that shit out eventually, maybe. But when streaming on the PlayStation, I can't see shit. And it makes me feel very uncomfortable. Oh, I forgot to equip the better runes that we have access to now. Oh well. There's another snake mate down there. I hate those guys. Fuck 'em. Oh yeah, we want to be up there. How do we get up there again? That didn't load there for a second, right? Like, there was a big chunk of that tree missing. I did not make that up, did I? Fuck it, I clip it, since I have the power to not even have to tab out. Now the game can inform me later. Right, so we got the majority of the Graveguard set, the helmet is up there. And I think you get to that from a different path than what we took. I did not mean to do that. Murky gemstones. Let's see if I can pull one of these two. That'd be alright. I do not want to fight. Ow. Oh, is he the one that aggroes all the men in the area? I see. Good thing we already cleared this out for the most part. He's not even gonna come attack me or what? Yeah, he just summoned a bunch of snakes and fucked off. I guess good for you. That doesn't technically the same damage, isn't it? Greedy but isn't punished. At least not terribly hard. Just thought it was way too early. Slap. So yeah, I think this duo of snake mates is just out here patrolling. So they should loop back around here at some point. It didn't seem like I could split them very easily. Oh boy, I want to become famous. You are completely correct, Mr. Bot. Oops, I didn't mean to shoot. I was just dropping my controller. I guess I just shot the bot basically, so fuck him. And this is where we dropped down and killed those snakes earlier, so the dynamic duo should be around here somewhere. Oh, you're mad at me and your mate isn't. This is perfect. This is what I want in life. I just had so much faith in my spacing there. God damn, that was scary. I just fucking stood there and was like, yep, you're not gonna reach me. I'm just gonna sit here and charge my attack. And then I just nailed that by like a pixel or two. That was impressive. Aren't you gonna yell again? Or... oh yeah, he is just straight up summoning them, not calling them over. That's a good ass. I guess it sort of kinda makes sense maybe a bit. Alright, let's try to back up a little bit and see if we can't get to that hood that we're missing, the Gravekeeper stuff, and then we can read the entire set's description. It's also this path that we haven't been on very much. Hello. Feels like the game's slowing down a bit here in this room, this area. Calling everything a room. But yeah, I just remembered that you posted the answer to the forest thing and I just got distracted by the game and never actually read that. Give me a sec. Huh, okay, so forest just includes a bunch of extra, like, vegetation bullshit, and woods is strictly just trees, basically. Neat. Now we know to forget in a second or two. Although now we wouldn't do that, we'll always remember. Isn't there like a tree you kick over here or something? Somehow get to the other side of here, I feel. Maybe from down here? We've talked so much about spiders that now my body is itchy. I do actually get that sort of response. I'm not sure if others are the same. There's kind of this meme about like, oh, my skin is crawling when confronting with something you're afraid of, and I do actually get that from fucking spiders. From seeing spiders. Haven't humped any of them yet. Alright, here's the mask. So let's have a look at the entire set. Graveguard. Mask of Doros, Graveguard of the Forbidden Woods. His pale countenance mimics the Labyrinth Watchers. William kept two loyal servants back at Bergenworth. When they were sent into the labyrinth, they encountered the Eldritch Truth and went mad. One became the password gatekeeper, while Doros became a Graveguard of the forest. Both remained loyal, even in madness. Countless bloodied ritual tools hang from its back, covered in the blood of untidy rituals. Blackheads? What? Oh, you guys are down here. Huh. spot in the skin. Alright. Huh. Interesting. Man, am I lucky that I don't know shit, because I didn't even know what that was. So I guess I don't get that reaction. So if they are over here, then we can probably go this way now that we have dealt with most of the snake mates. Yeah, fair enough. Oh yeah, so similar to the brain suckers, these guys are also fairly resistant to physical, as you can tell. Like, they take like 40-ish, maybe 30-ish% of our regular attack damage. So the implication is basically that they're the same sort of enemy as the brain suckers. Like some sort of like great ones, but like tiny. I had a lot of faith in me staggering him there, but I remember these being fairly frail, so I just committed. Now, these guys are a bit more of a pain in the ass. These are like the evolved sort of forms, if you will. They have like the fancy tentacle heads, and they do magic for all intents and purposes. And that shit's scary, so there's a chance I get one shot here, if my memory is correct. We'll just top off, just in case, and then we try to commit to some bullshit. Ow. Ow. Right, cool. So, fun fact about these guys. These are effectively two NPCs sitting on top of each other. Like the enemy NPC right here, which is the dead guy, and then the like tentacle hair sort of shit is basically a separate NPC that targets and attacks the player, if memory serves. Like, I saw that in a video and I thought it was super interesting. Very similar to how the minigun from Jura is cheaty, and just another NPC tracking you. The tentacles kind of do the same. Unless I misunderstood, which is very possible. Madman's Knowledge. This should link up roughly with where we left off. On the main path, basically. And then there's one side area with a gate that only opens from one side, for some reason. Kind of always felt a bit optional, but it has the counterclockwise metamorphosis. Actually, speaking of, we haven't inspected this just yet. Is there anything else we haven't read yet? No, I think we got all of these. Actually, clear deep seas is different. Nope. Okay. Anti-clockwise metamorphosis, so the clockwise one is the one lying there, oops. Anyway, a secret symbol left by Carol Runesmith of Bergenworth. The twisted cross means metamorphosis. Rotated anti-clockwise, this rune boosts stamina. The discovery of blood made their dream of evolution a reality. Metamorphosis, and the excesses and deviation that followed, was only the beginning. Transformation, metamorphosis, I don't know what you're talking about. Has there been anything sort of scary or odd appearing, happening in this game? Not that I've noticed. Seems like regular London. From what I hear anyway, not that I know. I mean, I guess I technically was in London for like a day or two during a school trip. So maybe I should know, but I don't know. Seems like the sort of thing only the locals would be in on. So somewhere on the left side here is this optional side area that I was referring to. Maybe it's further back up, seems likely. I'll try to just stick to the left and keep an eye out. We saw a bit... oh, it's probably up here, right? Like you go over this little... no? So in general, I'm pretty good at navigating most areas in these sorts of games. I am pretty good at like having a rough mental estimate of where I am at all times. And in general, as a result, these Souls games don't really bother me terribly much, even the more confusing areas, at least some of them. This one is an exception. I do actually get lost in these woods to a fairly large extent. They just look so similar in so many areas, and they just kind of like do everything right to be hard to navigate for me. like the way they kind of wind and loop in on themselves. I'm pretty sure the actual map, if you just looked at it from a top-down perspective, is just this like oblong sort of fucking weird like ellipses area. So like nothing terribly complicated, but the paths going through here are so zigzaggy, and there's elevation, and the trees look so similar, and all that sort of shit. And it's like, not great. Wait, this only opens from the other side. I thought it only opened from this side. Oh, little did I know. Wait, that didn't look like a co-op summon, was it? Did it? Is that a PvP summon? Like, this looked different from the other old Hunter stuff, doesn't it? Oh, it's a Federation mate, isn't it? That's probably why it looked different. Let's assume it's a Federation mate. I don't think there's any PvP summons in this game. Like, not as in, like, Dark Souls, red sign on the ground to inspect. Slide it back down here. And now we are nearing the end of this area. Finally. Ow, ow. Still a little bit to go, but not that much. Yeah, that was the little ambush area we cleared earlier. Can I get to that stone on the left as well, or is this just a whole lot of nothing? Looks like a whole lot of nothing. I can probably drop down there, but seems risky. Let's just stay on the path. It's Mr. Pig down to the right. This leads into the muddy little lake-ish thing that we saw earlier. Over here are the Celestial Emissaries if we go that direction, so we should be on our way, not quite out, but at least through. Right then, come here, Mr. Piggyton. Where? I apologize. Only 2 blood vials. Scammed. I think there's some of these like pseudo dead mates down here in this thing, but my instinct tells me I want to stay on land first and clear out this area. Maybe there's something attacking you at range, or there's a second pig or something nasty if you're stuck down there. So let's stick on the path for now. Oh yeah, there's Mr. Pig number 2. Or, well, 3 technically, isn't it? Hey, well, I am very lucky I dodged that. Because I had very little control over that situation. Yeah, I'm still trying to do my backstab bullshit. Whereas with this ass to the wall and basically no room to maneuver, there wasn't really much backstabbing going on. Alright, let's take care of you then. You need barely more than 3 attacks. This down there, the ominous looking bit with the fog gate, is totally not a boss room. Open, vaguely, oh yeah, right. Big open, vaguely circular area with a fog gate cannot possibly be a boss room. Ow. If only we had a tiny bit more damage so we can 3-shot them, that'd be so nice. I guess I could do a like strong attack or something at the end of the chain to finish them off. We have Dissipating Lake. I think that's the Frenzy Resistance, I want to say. Nope, Bolt Damage Reduction, never mind. Oh yeah, we already have the Frenzy Resistance one. NBM. Oot. A Blood Vial. Thanks, I guess. Better than not getting a Blood Vial. But also not exactly great. Another one of these summons. We have Vulture himself, I think. No, Henrik, I see. Yeah, these must be the Configuration ones. I don't remember those at all. Open gate, that's the one we saw earlier. So we can just go right down here again. Yeah, I thought that gate only opened from the inside rather than from the outside, so if I had remembered that correctly, I could have just continued on and not worried about missing this. I'm missing the shortcut somewhere, actually. Let's go back up here. Oh, is it further... Like, I think we went in here one too early. Like, if we go back through this and then stick to the right side, I think we reached the shortcut. Yep, this looks like the place. Or does it? No, I think I'm on the right path. I think I need to just stick to the right here. Aha. Yeah, so there's two of these mud lakes, and that's part of what makes this confusing. You see a lake and you're like, oh yeah, this is the place, and then, oh no, wait, wrong lake. Nice try, Bush. Oh, nice. Trying to play it very safe here in this fight. Don't wanna die at the very tail end of exploration, right before the shortcut unlocking. That'd be tragic. Bonk. Cloth physics look weird on these fast elevators up. Alright, so this leads back to the windmill, and on the other side of this is the other elevator, which we have taken previously. Or is it on the other side? Maybe it's on the same side. I don't know, but like it's not far away from the other elevator, basically. In which case we shall send this back up. Go down here, and move on to the totally not boss room that we saw earlier. Let's take a bit of unnecessary fall damage on the way just to waste some more healing. Yeah, this is where the Celestial Emissaries were. Right? Right? Right. Yes. 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 I think? Why do I not recognize this? Oh god. No, okay, this is it. Nice, okay, good. Oh yeah, from this angle it makes sense. Cool. Like I said, this place is actually very confusing for my poor brain. And I don't think I'm alone in this. This place is a bit of a nightmare. Does not necessarily have a bad good reputation. I always find stuff like that interesting when an area is like successful from a design perspective, but is like frustrating to the player. How do you judge that? Like a lot of players are really annoyed with shit like that, and they're like, "Oh fuck, I hate it. I don't want to do it." But at the same time, it's like the reaction that the developers want. Like, if you're going to Blighttown and you're sitting there like, "Oh fuck, I don't want to go to Blighttown," then congratulations, job well done for the devs, basically. And same with this shit. If you don't like the Forbidden Woods because they're big and mazy and you get confused and lost and whatever, then congratulations, job well done for the developers. So like I always find it hard to be like mad at the devs for making a place that is frustrating or irritating, because clearly they intended it to be in this exact manner. Alright, let's do a quick Bit of a stretch. Oh, maybe have a drink. Oh. I don't remember. Do I want anything here? I wonder if bolt paper is any good. I think fire paper is just generic good, so let's just equip that for now. Well, guess we'll just wing it. Yeah, so I don't remember the order in which I want to kill these three. I think I want the candle guy to be last, and I think I want sword guy to be first. Oh, I forgot to make a prediction actually. Oh well. Wait, I thought you could bury him. That looked like good timing. Yeah, I can give you a slap bomb here. Ow. He goes further than I expect him to. Bit mean. Third attack. So then the fireball. Actually, these are spread out in a very awkward manner. The fireball made is like flat ways to the tombstone, so kiting is kind of rough right there. Let's try to reorient him. Put him onto this side, maybe over here-ish. Fuck, I really wanted him to die. So he gets a bit annoying because he has like snake hands now, which means he has nigh infinite range. Oh wow, that more ow AoE than I expected it to. Right, let's kite them around the room again. Try to put them into positions where we can deal with them. Yeah, those fireballs from above have some decent AoE to them. To be aware of that. Right, good trade, I accept. So the reason we want to focus this guy is because he gets some very nasty and very fancy moves if he can be. So I kind of have to oppress him ideally. Make sure he doesn't get to do too many things. First I'll try to split them again a little bit. Just stop flailing, it's not good for stamina. Ow. Right, down to the last one. So the thing about this guy is that his AI is shit, which is why you leave him for last. You just do this. And I'm not doing anything fancy, he just wants to reposition every time you hit him. And you could literally do this at level 1 and hit him like millions of times, he would never change his behavior. So that's probably the main reason why you wanna start with the other two. Like, sort fucking accidental gestures. I guess we'll sit here for a minute while I whinge about the fight, or ramble. Not really whinging, I like this fight. Like, Sword Guy is kind of annoying because with his extendo range when Snake mode activates, he can just snipe you almost anywhere and it's really hard to see coming. The Fire Breath from the guy we fought last is actually really easy to avoid, so as long as you can bait that, you can just ignore him for the most part. So it's basically make sure the firebolts don't fuck you while you kite the sword mate and try to kill him as quickly as possible. And then the caster gets really annoying over time. Like, if I remember correctly, he gets more of the snake fancy moves if he's last to live, so you kind of want to kill him off while ignoring the torchmate. And then the... or candlemate, I should say. And then candlemate himself is, as was demonstrated, completely easy to deal with, so not a big deal at all. I kind of like that AI abuse against him. Like, you can do that with just about any weapon that is fast enough to hit him, and you just hit him, he jumps, hit him, he jumps, hit him, he jumps, and you just continue that. I always find that funny. Because it's like the kind of cheese that isn't... It doesn't feel terribly abusive. It's like the sort of thing that you notice if you take your time fighting them. It's not like you completely bug out the ability and he can't move anymore at all or something. You just have to realize that after every attack he jumps and you just exploit the somewhat intended behavior, which I think is a fun way of, like, quote-unquote cheesing a fight. I keep checking because I really would like to have Garamon hang out here. Get the extra bit of dialogue, but he's just not doing it. Fook. Oh, time to invest into ourselves a little bit.
Welcome. Very well.
We go to 25 endurance. Let's bring up the skill a bit as well. I think we'll go to like 30-30 strength and skill. And like, I don't know. We'll see where that leads us.
Hunters have told me.
Nope.
Farewell.
Goodbye. How many blood rocks did we get? So we picked up some of the new upgrade material for weapons. We got 1. Okay. This is a bloodstone chunk, and this is for increasing your weapons level from 6 onwards. So like for 7, 8, and 9, you will need 3, 5, and 8. Yes, maybe? I think so. Rocks respectively. We're at 1, so we're not really doing much with that. Yeah, seek less indeed. I think we have really nothing terribly interesting to do instead of, like, before we just continue to Bergenmirth. Since we're basically there. Let's quickly go check the gemstones that we found in the runes. Try to put the right things in the correct slot. Moon rune definitely stays. Air rune, visceral attacks, remember light echoes, sure. So we have the better communion rune. We also have 5% HP and 10% stamina. These are both pretty decent. Maybe I'll take the stamina over the more blood vials. Oh, we also got Blood Rapture from the boss. We haven't read that yet. Carol rune that transcribes inhuman sounds. Blood Rapture is the raw euphoria of the warmth of blood. Restores HP with visceral attacks, one of the darker hunter techniques. This rune resonates with servants of the Queen, carrier of the Child of Blood, who yearn for their Queen's blood with little hope of requitment? I don't know the word. For them, they find solace in Blood Rapture that serves as a surrogate for their desires. Basically, they're getting off on fucking tearing people's blood out. That's probably the rune you were referring to as well, with like the restore HP thing when visceral attacks can be quite useful. Sorry about that. It's the sort of rune that is, if you're going through an area that you are like comfortable in, where you're like, I can parry a lot of mates here, then you can kind of just keep that rune on and not worry about blood vials very much, because it just allows you to restore your HP if you ever take chip damage in fights. So like, you don't really die to attrition with that, as long as you keep visceral attacking people. Quite useful sometimes. But I will not bother with it for now. Let's just spend some of our money. Let's just buy exactly 2 fire paper. There we go. Right, I want to quickly nip back and grab the 1 item that we missed in the Forbidden Woods. So, source for more bed tracking, but I'll try to run through and ignore the enemies so we can just get it over with. I see a new message on Discord. It literally is just the wasp. Alright. Fantastic. Okay, I should find my way there fairly easily. I mean, we just went through all this and kinda should have most of this in my brain still. I think if we stick to the left side it should be easier. I say not committing to the left side properly. Isn't there a path further left than this, or am I dumb? I'm dumb, there is not. In which case we want to avoid this part and then head left afterwards. Yeah, over the hill right here should be good. Yeah, I trust you enough to not actually expect Satan. That might be a mistake long term, but for now, I don't expect the worst. Let's have another quick chat with us, mate.
Oh, Evans, would you stop that? Every peace you make brings us bad luck. I have it bad enough already.
It's a very different mate from previously.
Just leave a poor old woman be. Oh, Evans.
It's kind of interesting because what happens is the whatchamacallit, the tonsil stone, as soon as you have defeated a certain number of bosses, the next of these incense windows that you interact with gives you the tonsil stone, basically no matter which window it is. So their normal dialogue gets overwritten with the tonsil stone and get grabbed by invisible monster description. Or like seek out the hidden church or whatever the fuck the description actually was. And it's a fairly odd way of doing it, I feel. It is interesting because like it kind of implies that some sort of higher power overtakes whatever these people would normally have to say. That's kind of a neat thought, but at the same time it's like mechanically kind of weird because you might never realize that if you don't really read up on the game or play it multiple times and do very different things. Like I think it's the first window you interact with after opening the Forbidden Woods door, maybe, or something like that. So, if you open the door to the Forbidden Woods, you may as well get in there, right? Like, it's the natural progression. So I think for most people, that window is just the Tonsil Stone window. But I think mechanically it's actually any window that could be the Tonsil Stone window. Kind of overthinking it, but, you know, it's what we do. Alright, so we went all this way just for this extra corpse. Let's see if there's anything of use in here. Okay, I will not complain about 10 or, well, 11 total Molotov cocktails. Molotov cocktails are alright, so I do not regret doing this little trip. So here is why I dislike the lamp system compared to the bonfire system. The lamp system is annoying because you either teleport back to the lamp or you use the lamp to teleport back to the Hunter's Dream. You can't skip this step. So we just wanted to homeward bound back to the lamp, from there we have to go into the Hunter's Dream, and from there we have to go to the bonfire that we wanted to, or the lamp that we wanted to. Basically, it's an extra loading screen. If we could just straight up warp from a lamp over to any other lamp, then we wouldn't have to go to the Hunter's Dream every time, and we could skip this loading screen and the next one. Which, or, well, just this one, I guess, technically. Which would be nice. Like, it's not a big deal, especially now that the loading times aren't the worst thing in the world anymore, but it's just kind of an unnecessary extra step. And as a result, I never really used these bold hunter's marks very much. Like, it doesn't feel terribly valuable to me. If I'm not too far away from a lantern, then I may as well just run over to the lantern and use it to return to the hunter's dream directly, rather than warping here, have a loading screen, then warp to the hunter's dream, and from there go wherever I need to be. Like I said, fairly small thing, all things considered, but it's just slight little things that irk you every now and then. So now we have a new form of Satan. We have Bee Satan, or not Bee Satan, I guess Fly Satan. Some transformed weirdo, clearly formerly humanoid, now with a big old head of eyes, some weird wings, screeches a bit. Not normal. Bit of Madman's knowledge. And we have one of the few places in this game where there are two lamps basically right next to each other. We just got a lamp from defeating the boss, and here's the next one. Which I always found a bit odd. This happens a lot in Dark Souls 2 and 3 to an extent, where there's like two bonfires directly next to each other, and both of them are also because of the fact that boss defeated means new bonfire spawns, so this creates these little awkward dead zones. Like this little stretch that we just went through with that weird fly enemy, we'll probably never go there again, because either we travel to the previous lamp and then head into the woods, or we travel here and go into Bergenworth, which is right here. This little dead zone just doesn't really do anything, and it kind of wasn't really needed in my opinion, like this lamp that is. You could have just taken this all in one go, but alas. It's just how it is. Who are you? Younger Maderos twin again? I think you get an item for playing with this guy at some point, don't you? Don't you get the whistle, or is that DLC? I don't know. There's another magic item that we haven't gotten yet, and I think you get it from that guy. Once again, we do barely not enough damage to kill this guy in one, or like we bring him to 1 HP somewhere in our chain of attacks. The door opens from the other side only, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? There is El Moon. I think that's the first time we've properly seen the moon, isn't it? It's quite pretty. Are these weird-ass statues everywhere? People are apparently metamorphing, I would guess, is what that's supposed to represent. Like, this looks like they're maybe sprouting wings or whatever, kind of half-cocooned or some shit. Maybe they're just sitting in weird poses and I'm overinterpreting. It's definitely weird though, whatever it is. Absolutely handled. Quicksilver bullets. Neat. No loot? What the fuck? So pretty. We'll get a better view of that in a second. I think there's another fly Satan up here. Oh no, it's a brain sucker. Oh boy. Good thing we got these Molotovs. How dare you? Yo, you just fucking hyper armor to that. Oh well, here goes our fucking sanity. Or inside, I should say. Load you all swollen and more powerful. Yeah, die. And we don't get that inside back, which is the most insulting part. I guess we're just not enough of a brain sucker ourselves. Maybe we can fix that over the course of the run. Just become Satan ourselves. Start sucking people's brains for knowledge. Get eyes on the inside, the good stuff. Yeah, basically you got Potbuster. You just fucking tank that shit. Although Potbuster doesn't have hyper armor, so it doesn't really make sense, never mind. So there's a weird thing over there, and there aren't many of these in the base game. I think I want to say only this one, and there's more in the Chalice dungeons, but I think there might be another one of them later. Not sure. Anyway, these guys are weird. Not this guy. I mean, they're also weird, don't get me wrong, but they're not what I'm talking about. Oh, you did it again. Oh, you already did it. Now we have the terrible noise. I hate the terrible noise. Oh, time to frenzy. Ow. Right, let's try to not get fucked again. Alright, fuck you, this guy. I don't really remember how to best fight these. I think I usually just do this sort of thing and just wail away at it, hoping it dies eventually. Did we aggro someone? Ow. Let's see, is there another Satan here to dribble us? I don't think so. There's... Good thing I checked. Oh, we found sedatives. Nice, let's read that in a sec, after we deal with this monstrosity. Yeah, I have no idea what these are supposed to be. Like, be that lore-wise, or even just physically. They're kinda weird, like this head thing is kind of like a flower, and then you have this sort of centipede appearance, and they look like insectoids with a weird carapace shit that they have on them. I don't know, it's very hard to tell. Oh, we found Great One's Wisdom. Right, 2 things to read then. So we have sedatives. Liquid medicine concocted at Bergenworth calms the nerves. Those who delve into the arcane fall all too easily to madness, and thick human blood serves to calm the frayed nerves of those inquisitive minds. Naturally, this often leads to reliance on blood administration. Basically, your brain slows down, and you can't go insane if your brain is dead, so, or is, like, slowed down at least, so, yeah, it's kind of an interesting way of dealing with that. And then over here we have Great One's Wisdom. Fragments of the lost wisdom of the Great Ones, beings that might be described as gods. Used to gain insight. At Bergenworth, Master Willem had an epiphany. We are thinking on the basis of planes. What we need are more eyes. Kind of like the proper mind-blown version of this one. Anything interesting here? Oh yeah, Frenzied Cobalt. I'm not sure we have read those yet. This manifestation of madness comes from a mind teetering on the very brink, but has a sane mind ever produced anything of true significance? Good question. I like that the various levels of cold blood sometimes have different descriptions about the intensity of where they came from, basically. Like, hey, if you got proper fucked, you release this cold blood. Oh, interesting. Takes notes. Alright, so this is our entrance into this place. I had an idea earlier of what I wanted to do before this. It's probably not important. Anyway, so here's Bergenworth. Or at least what remains of it. Some flickering graphics, most importantly. Whole lot of junk everywhere. Like, look at all these weird-ass reagents. Notably, this is probably the spot that Willem was sitting in his chair when we had that little vision earlier. Seems like this was the place. But yeah, you can bid all this. It looks and sounds fantastic. There's a bunch of eyeballs in some of these jars, like they're now strewn across the ground. Oops, my bad. There's a chest here, which is always nice. Nothing could ever be bad with chests. We found a pearl slug. Let's have a look at this. That is a Chalice Dungeon material, so that should be here. I am fucking dumb. It's here. Of all of the strange life forms that reside in the nooks and crannies of the old labyrinth, the slugs are a clear sign of left-behind Great Ones. Yeah, I too think that whenever I see a slug. Like, oh, it must have been a Great One here. That makes sense. Nah, mate. Oh, are you... Here's someone walking around. I wonder if they're coming downstairs. There's a guy in here to fight. He'll probably kill me. Or she. I don't remember. Yep, we got one shot despite being behind what is reasonably cover. So that's a Call Beyond, which is the biggest, baddest pseudo-sorcery in the game. And it is very ass. It doesn't always one-shot you, because the way the projectiles work is somewhat random. Like, often, even if you're out in the open, you will not take enough damage to die, but other times it just straight up one-shots you and there's nothing you can do. You can of course try to dodge it. I chose to hide behind cover, hoping that would help me. I got not lucky, so we got fucked. But like, yeah, it just sometimes decides to kill you, and there's not that much you can do about it, I feel. Right then, let's face you up here. Let's play aggressive. Oh yeah. Right, he has a... oops. As a ranged weapon, he has basically a variant on the flame sprayer that we have. Let's try to not quite die. Ow, ow, ow. That's basically like an arcane version of the flame sprayer, so it does arcane damage rather than fire damage. Otherwise it functions fairly similarly. I think the stats are slightly worse, if I remember correctly. So I think he's mostly just using it for flavor. Ow. That move is actually much scarier than it looks. It looks very slow, but first of all, it hits like a truck, and second, it can even parry you. Like, that move has, like, parry properties for some reason. So if you're attacking while they do the tentacle bullshit, you just get parried and take extra damage, and then they can also visceral attack you and kill you, which is unfun. Anyway, let's have a look at this. When the red moon hangs low, the line between man and beast is blurred, and when the great ones descend, a womb will be blessed with child. Maybe that's that infant we're supposed to seek out and bin. As that one note was trying to inform us. A bunch of organs lying around, more eyeballs and shit. Always good to have. I personally keep my spares in the fridge, just to make them last a bit longer. Anyway, with the student uniform and trousers, let's have a look at this. Let's just do it this way, it's faster, I think. Uniform of the students of Bergenworth, a bygone institute of learning, features a thick cape. The Healing Church has its roots in Bergenworth, and naturally borrows heavily from its uniform design. The focus not on knowledge or thought, but on pure pretension, would surely bring Master Willem to despair if only he knew. I kinda like this outfit, this looks nice. It has that, like the hood on the back. I could do with this as a student uniform. This looks cool. Let's, however, put back on the white church thingy, because I prefer that one for now. We have another note. The spider hides all manner of rituals, certain to reveal nothing, for true enlightenment need not be shared. I guess. Not much to say about that. Was there anything I missed downstairs? I kinda got interrupted when Mate was coming down here. I don't need to open this door because we already managed to go through the other side. If we can't even open that, I don't even know. But I'll not try to find out. No, I guess that's it for the downstairs area. Alright. There is a thing we can do over here. There is a ladder to climb. Like so. I hear a fly above. And we get the Lunarium key, which is for the door downstairs, which we will open in a bit. First, let's check the very top. Let's try not to get gribbled. Nah, fuck it. More Quicksilver, terribly important. And we get the empty Phantasm Shell. There's another one of these fancy magic items. Should have come up from the bottom. Empty invertebrate shell that is said to be familiar of a Great One. The Healing Church has discovered a great variety of invertebrates, or phantasms as they're called. Shells with slime still harbor arcane power, and can be rubbed on weapons to imbue them with their strength. So as you can see, another 15 arcane requirement to use, uses 3 Quicksilver bullets whenever you press the button, and it basically buffs your weapon with arcane damage. It's like Magic Weapon, for example, in Ye Olde Souls games. Not terribly fancy, but hey. Kind of a buff on demand, reliably reusable is neat at least. Since the bolt paper and the fire paper are both very expensive, so it's nice to have options. This is the Lunarium. Likely called this because of this massive view of the moon we have right here. Then we have Willem himself. Look at this guy. Fancy as fuck. You say. The lake. I don't want to go into the lake. That seems like a bad idea. He gave us 2 insight just for talking to him. So I'm gonna do something which you may or may not approve of, but I'm sorry. How do I keep missing these? It's so anticlimactic whenever I do this. I think we're doing him a favor by releasing him from this sort of torment. He would not be very happy with where the church has taken his studies, and he gives us the Eye rune, which is nice and has a bit more lore for us. He is also completely useless outside of doing that. Like, there's nothing he can do or say. He has no reaction to anything in the game, if memory serves, so... Let's have a look at the Eye rune. A secret symbol left by Carol, runesmith of Bergenworth. I don't know why I keep reading the sentence for every single rune, but here we are. A transcription of I, as spoken by left-behind Great Ones, allows one to make additional discoveries. I symbolize the truth Master Willem sought in his research. Disillusioned by the limits of human intellect, Master Willem looked to beings from higher planes for guidance, and sought to line his brain with eyes, in order to elevate his thoughts. So as the description implied there, it is a rune that gives us more item discovery, which is always convenient to have. We also get the max level right off the bat, so that is perfectly alright. Yeah, absolutely not an Elder Sign. Why would you think that? Like, this is completely different. I don't know what you're talking about. I kinda like this rune. More items from fallen enemies. It is kind of useful to have on at basically all times. So, this kind of resonates with the whole thing we read from that other rune's description, that like the great bodies of water were like a bulwark between like nightmare or dream or whatever and reality. And this like moonlit great fucking lake right here seems a bit too obvious not to jump into, doesn't it? It's also awkwardly lit right there. That's not the moon's reflection, that's just like glowing for some reason. So I think we should give it a little jump. And now we enter the Moonside Lake. Good old Tekken 7's training stage. And over here we have something. Some sort of creature with a whole lot of eyes. Looks a bit weird. Like, goddamn though, all these eyes. I guess they would consider this a success. So it looks very fancy, but I promise it's actually nasty and we have to kill it, so let's get to that then. So that is Rom the Vacuous Spider, and true to its name, it summons spiders for some reason. I don't have too much of a problem with these personally. I don't know why, but they don't take my brain off in the wrong way, so I can handle these. They're not perfect, like I'd prefer if they weren't what they are, but you know, it could be way worse. Now, the nasty thing about these is that they do a lot of damage if you let them. Like that guy just took a lot of our HP. And we're not getting that back, at least not for free, so You gotta be careful. Also, they have this weird jump attack. Not that one, like one where they jump into the sky and then plant face first down. That one is very scary. I think that one-shots us, most likely, especially if we're busy doing anything else. Now, technically, we don't need to kill these, we just need to make you take enough damage to A, either retaliate, or maybe that only starts in the next phase, or B, after a while, Rom teleports the fuck away. So, we could kind of fight this forever. That is the attack I was referring to. That one has, I think, potential to one-shot us, which is not fun. So this first set is fairly easy to deal with, because Rom herself doesn't really do anything. So you can just wail away and have a good time. Now she fucketh off over there with new mates. And now she actually participates in the fight, which is where things get a bit ass. I did not even see that, I'm bad. Basically, she will now use magic attacks while we're fighting, which do a lot of damage and are not always easy to avoid. Also, they don't do any friendly fire because video games. It's the meteors again, actually. It's the meteors again. I attempt to flee. Not the meteors. No. Don't get away in time. That one, that last one looked like it would have hit me. Got him. Fucking hell. I was gonna try to rally some of my HP back, but then meteors, so I had to fuck off. I kind of misread that. I thought she was staggering rather than winding up an attack. She leaves. That is not very far away. I was hoping she'd teleport far enough away that her previous spiders wouldn't be an issue. Guess that is asking for a lot. Feels like she's attacking more frequently as well, which is always fun. Oh, really? That hit me. How rude. Well, guess we basically lost at this point. Really? Well, we're out of healing, so I've got to clutch it now. Almost out of healing, I guess. Oh, not actually, but close enough. She knows. Not now. God damn it. I hate the sprint into rolling, or lack thereof, I should say. Unfortunate. She had to do the button fucking melee attack she has instead of any of her 3 spells. I think I would have made it in time to avoid any of the 3 spells, but alas. You can't always get lucky. So in theory, there's a few things you can do to make this fight easier. You can, for example, like do the beast mode thing, which is the attack buff, like the berserk sort of thing. If you do that and you use a weapon and have enough stamina, like a weapon that does good beast build up and have enough stamina, you can actually chunk her for very, very large amounts of HP at a time, which makes the fight a lot easier. You can even stagger her as she's about to teleport away to give you an extra few seconds to wail away at her, and then you only have to deal with, like, I think you can actually, in theory, kill her in one phase. I think that's what the no-hit runs do. Or speed runs most likely as well. But for the average person, it's mostly going to be like a 2-phase or maybe a 3-phase fight, if you're stacking everything you can in your favor. Where's my money? I cannot see shit. I shall hydrate. So if the spiders don't take advantage of that, especially not the magic one. Seems like it doesn't. This is my money. Yoink. Look at this clump of spiders. Please no. Oh, itchy nose. Why? Couldn't you have been itchy while we were just hanging out in the woods, not doing anything terribly important? Why during the boss fight? We have a bit of an opening here. Oh fuck, I didn't see that. Okay, you know what, there's so few spiders left that I'm gonna just kill them for it. Trying to attack Ram again. Ram, yes brain, Rom. Alright, we could also do a bit of this. Try and get as much damage as possible before she teleports. Hey, we got the stagger, nice. Oh, that lag, oh my lord. Goodness gracious, goodbye all of the frames that have ever existed. Oh my lord, that was large damage. I guess if I run away from the meteors, my chances of not being hit are a bit higher. It's pretty close. Oh, teleporting again. Why for? Fuck. I don't recognize the wind up for the melee attack at all. It will always catch me off guard, it seems. It was pretty close for Meteors, I'm shocked she chose that. Fuck me. I wanted to roll after sprinting, but obviously you can't do that in this game because jumping takes precedence. Holy cow. Alright, time to reset. Ugh. That caught me, how dare you. I didn't recognize that, I thought once again she was fucking staggering. one-shot with a jumping attack, so that's good. She just nodded her head weirdly. I was a bit afraid that it was gonna be meteors or something, so I didn't wanna press on there. But we almost have her. If we just have one set of good luck here. The fight is over. There we go, sorted. Okay, prey slaughtered and we receive kin cold blood. That is right down here. Cold blood of inhuman kin of the cosmos, brethren of the great ones, used to gain unspeakable blood echoes. Dare not to delve into the world beyond humanity, the eldritch truth touched upon long ago at Bergenworth. And over there is some sort of weird lady in a white dress, which is very blendy right there. Probably plays Claudette in Dead by Daylight with that outfit. So shit just got weird. Ritual secret broken. Seek the nightmare newborn. Oh, hi. Oh, it's this room. Oh, hi. Hello, sir. Have you been here for a while? I hear a baby crying in the background. I think that's normal these days. Anyway, were you the man that was doing the thing? Yes, of course you were. So this guy was hanging there all along, and when we first were here and inspecting the door and that weird shit happened, he was there and doing that thing. He just was invisible because we didn't have enough insight, or the ritual had not been disrupted yet or completed or whatever. Basically, the veil of sanity had not been broken yet. But now the door is open, so we go down here. I'm sure this is fine. Sky looks very healthy. Someone goes ding ding da ding 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 and the enemies spawn. Use some sort of blood buff on them. Introducing us to our new mechanic. So now we get these weird-ass bell maidens all over the shop, and they ring the bell, and they summon new men, and they also buff them and make them very sturdy. But first of all, we get to enjoy that Yarnum has always been a little bit weird. Like, this guy, for example, was hanging out here before. Although we haven't been in this particular area, he definitely has been here, and so has this guy. And there's another one upstairs. What the fuck? Pots and pans, mate. As in, make ruckus, spawn people. Not sure who you're referring to, actually. Anyway, we shall return to the Hunter stream. Have a quick chat. Oh, I see. I thought with Ape Shit you were referring to one of the, like, Ape Split games. I was like, oh, what? It's okay, huh? Yeah, you're correct, they do.
What is it?
Anything new?
Good hunter. Your presence somehow soothes. I sense the ancient echoes. They course your veins. Good hunter.
Alright.
Farewell.
June. So let's look at the sky. Isn't this beautiful? It's more of this imagery that From likes to use these like pillars into the sky and from the bottom. Very Ash Lake-y. Also, I think Demon Soul's ending, if I remember that correctly. Although it has been a while. No Garamon, maybe back here. Come on, maybe one of these days. None of these days. I am saddened. Do you have anything else that's fancy? I don't know, let's put the Warren Messenger hat back on. I kinda like this one. I feel comfortable with that. Identify them as mine own. So, we shall quickly spend some of our blood echoes.
Well, what? Very well.
Let's get some more of those, and then increase strength further.
Good hunt.
I already did that.
Farewell.
And let's go to Cathedral Ward and see how our resident survivors are doing. I'm sure they're very happy with us. Like, I mean, what could possibly have gone wrong? The whole world has gone to shit, but I mean, that's just kind of life. Can't really complain about that, can you? Yeah, I mean, this looks fine.
Once the night of the hunt passes...
Oh, still send a alert from you. Hello, you don't look very well. Are you okay?
Oh, there you are. Forgive me, I'm a bit out of sorts. So, no blood today, I'm afraid.
NP?
Oh, there's something wrong with me. Oh.
You sound like you're going through some shit. It's probably fine. You seem a lot more sane. How are you holding up?
There you are.
Hi.
You're early, dear. Is anything the matter? You can always tell me. Mother will make everything better.
You okay, Nan?
What's wrong? Anything you'd like to tell me?
I do have my share of woes.
Oh, boy. You poor thing. But don't you worry. This will help you forget. Forget your troubles. Forget your cares.
Drugs! Yay, thanks, Nan.
Oh, what is it, dear? Are you in a bind again?
No, I'm fine.
Good. What a relief. You always were the brave one. But you can't bottle up everything inside. You mustn't be afraid to share.
So yeah, she effectively was on drugs. Such is life.
Ah, your lies spin a web. but I see through your deceit. I did not learn from books. No. I learned it all with my own mind. But I...
Well, your mind sucks, mate, sorry. Hi, how are you holding up? That well, nice. I'm glad someone is having fun. Cool. So yeah, that's our residence going incredibly well. Like, they're all healthy, all sane, as you would expect from a night like this. Also, in case this was not obvious from the other weird-ass situation with the glowing lights, this guy has been hanging out here the entire time as well. Right on the old cathedral ward, or Eden Chapel, or whatever the fuck. And he's who would have grabbed us if we got caught over here while trying to loot. Come on, a bit further. Now, the tonsil stone was kind of implying that we should have kind of gotten grabbed by that over in the other place that we just explored. And similarly, we got a thing that implies we should also get grabbed by this one. They're effectively access points to other places. This one in particular being the access to the DLC if we get grabbed. That will, however, be a thing for the future. I'm not entirely sure, I haven't made up my mind yet in which order I want to do the things, because we currently have all the things available to us. We have like 3 or maybe even 4 things that we could do from now. I think I'll just call it a stream here, a little bit earlier than the last few times, but I'm not doing terribly well today, so I'll just cut the stream here and figure out what I want to do next time. Like I said, there's plenty of options. If you know this game and you have a preference like, hey, go do this or go do that, please let me know. I am open to suggestions, otherwise I'll just wing it like normal. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Or, I shouldn't make a promise like that. I'll see you next time. Let's take the neutral and diplomatic answer. Or sayonara saying, whatever. Anyway, Jim.